Welcome to the Convention Creators Podcast, a show where we unpack the ins and outs of the convention world from the perspective of the creators who live in it.
I am PB, the post-MegaCon bear, and I am still recovering from the most manic weekend that we've ever had this year. We got back from MegaCon Birmingham, we experienced the Absolution gig, and there is a lot to cover.
It really was a whirlwind. New merch, new display partnerships, new life-size hedgehogs. I hate that hedgehog. And the most amazing Sonic music ever, yes. And meeting so many listeners of the show this weekend. And today we are breaking it all down. So I recommend we crack straight into it and we go.
Let's go.
That was so seamless. You'd never have known. Oh my goodness. Yes, we're here for episode 14. You managed to skip Unlucky 13 somehow. I'm quite impressed, I'm not going to lie. And we're here for 14. And I mean, I say Unlucky 13. This has been the most intense couple of weeks, it feels like, for us both. We're on the other side of it, and we're here to talk about it. We're here to decompress and debrief.
Yes. Honestly, if it feels like December was years away, and at the same time it feels like it was only yesterday, because we have not stopped. Even on a week where we think that we can relax a little bit, just something pops up and then there's a ton of things to do.
Yeah.
And this was supposed to be one of them. We were supposed to have like a relaxed post MegaCon week. You return home after a few days, 2 weeks away, and just as you were leaving, we're like, how about do a live? How about we prepare all this last minute with 2 days to go? Let's add more damage. I am so tired. I don't think a week off sleeping would help me recover at this point, but it is what it is.
You know what's quite amusing about this special episode is we decided early in the week that actually we'll do a live episode because that will give us less work to do and less stress if we do it live rather than have to go through the effort of pre-recording and editing. And as the last 10 hours have shown,
it has the most stressful thing we've done so far. Especially the last 2 hours. Everything that could have gone wrong on my side went wrong. From the camera not being found, from the phone not wanting to cooperate as a camera, the podcast mic was like, I'm out. Later. Deuces. And then that's it. We had to fix everything.
Yes. But we made it. And yes. We're here, and we're here to talk about, well, all the things we've got up to recently, but specifically MegaCon Birmingham, which is, again, for me personally, probably another one of the bigger events that I've done ever, because I'm such a noob when it comes to it, such a convention noob. Lot to unpack. I guess a good place to start with is just the general vibe of how everything went and how, I guess, it's compared to previous years as well.
Yeah.
Again, first one for me. So to me, all wonderful. Have nothing to compare it to. But obviously, you've been doing this a while now. This is not your first time at the MegaCon Birmingham. Would you say it was busier this year? Maybe better organized, less organized? The layouts? How did it compare to previous years at Birmingham?
Okay. So, firstly, a touch of what you said. In the scale of convention size, if you were to consider your experience at Animanga Pop Bristol from scale, a 2 out of 10. Let's say 10 is the biggest kind of con that you can have, right? Animanga Pop was probably about a 2. I would say our experience at Striking Event was probably nearer the one,
Hmm.
right? Not because it's a bad event, but
Yeah.
just like the complexity and how many artists and traders there are, right?
Yeah.
I would classify MegaCon London to be somewhere in the realm of a or 5, right?
Okay.
Whereas this one is probably more of a 6.
Okay. 6.
So while this is big to you as someone who is fairly new to the con scene,
Mm.
it is not really that massive. As a venue, it is big, right?
Mm.
But the attendance and the grandeur of it,
Yeah.
as a like a life draining experience when you're trading because you're
Mm.
constantly busy,
Yeah.
it would probably scale towards a 6-7, we would
Mhm.
say.
Yeah.
As for how it fared compared to previous years, I find MegaCon Birmingham to always offer around the same thing. The Saturday is fairly busy, the
Mhm.
Sunday is always dead.
Mhm.
We will get into why later on.
Mhm.
But my table was probably the most active this year, and we all know why. We're doing a booth instead of a table. We have Rob with us with the life-size has-been statues. We have the life-size hedgehogs that people are coming specifically to take photos with. They
Yeah.
stop for the hedgehog merch, and the new, more elaborate and more neat wall of shirts behind us is definitely attracting people who aren't even interested in the hedgehogs. So I think this year for me fared much better, much better than last year. I will agree with our friend Nat in the chat that it has been the busiest Saturday I have had to date at Birmingham. However, the down of Sunday was a massive down, which is sad.
So, I guess the leading part of that was just the impact of Mother's Day, and it was
And
that wasn't the. Go on, sorry.
someone else mentioned that it was the start of Eid
Yes.
as well. And obviously, in the area where we were, it will be impactful to a point.
Mhm.
Mother's Day versus Father's Day, I feel Father's Day is a little bit different. Father's Day, the nerdy dads, go to con
Mhm.
because it's a it's a thing. But for Mother's Day, we go for a meal,
Yeah.
and that takes people away from con.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, this event literally always falls on a Sunday where it's going to be quiet for some reason or another
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
always the last Sunday of
Mhm.
March,
Yeah.
and there's always something going on, and it
Yeah.
kind of kills the that you've built on Saturday
Really
because
does.
everyone is so conditioned thinking, oh, my Sunday is going to be about 75% of my Saturday, so I'm going
Yeah.
to cover everything.
Yeah.
But this was abysmal in comparison.
Yeah.
I would say I probably made less than 25% of my Saturday on Sunday.
Mm. Yeah. Indeed. Hashtag bring your mamas to MegaCon definitely should be the trendy hashtag.
Agreed.
So Sunday again fell on Mother's Day. A noticeable dip, even for me who wasn't trading. Just a note, like Sunday was such an easier day for me to film because there was so fewer people to be in the way. Like Saturday
Hmm.
was very difficult to film, and Sunday was
Yeah.
a breeze. Um, what's the solution? Should it be moved? Does it need to be moved? Because this seems to be a running thing. I was on the Sunday. Someone came up to me. I wish I remember the name, but someone came up to me and said like, "Oh, it's the Birmingham tradition where Sunday's dead."
No, because MCM is in Birmingham, and MCM on last December. Was it December or was it November? I can't remember. But my Sunday was equal to my Saturday.
Yeah.
And it is, but that's also MCM. It doesn't that's by the by. I would say it has less to do about it being Birmingham and everything to do about Mother's Day. If it is again 1 week before everyone got paid. So people probably, instead of doing a weekend ticket, they've done only the day ticket. There's so many factors. However, they cannot move the convention by a week because that would have made this convention fall on the 4th of April. And the 4th of April is a new financial tax year. So that would throw all forms of logistics when it comes to their business into some form of disarray, right? Because if you're showing certain numbers and 1 year you're deducting a con, but doing a big jump again for the next year, it would look really weird under taxes. So I don't think that they can do that. Should they move it to a week before? Maybe. I don't know if that is going to help people not having money in the middle of the month. Maybe that is where people are like, I have some money left over. Who needs to eat in the last week? I'm just going to spend it on stickers and badge buttons.
Yeah.
But
It's true though, because I get paid on the last working day of the month. That's just how it's always been, and because for this particular con, it meant the Saturday and Sunday were literally the last 2 days before my pay packet on the Monday. So, or was it? I think it was the Monday. So it meant I was the brokest I could possibly be at that con.
100%, and that is relatable to many people. Talking about the NEC, firstly, I think it would be interesting to know if they do one-day events. I don't know of a single one-day event at the NEC, probably because of the sheer cost of it. Who knows if it would be worth it. But also, we cannot take for granted that these events can move. These are under contractual obligations, chunks of time. They would have a contract for like a year, 2 years, 3 years, right, in order to get like a package deal. And the calendar of the NEC is swamped all year round. So only because we want them to move the date 1 week in advance or maybe 1 week later doesn't mean that they are able to do it. So it's kind of a stuff it and just always prepare for MegaCon Birmingham Sunday to be a very quiet one.
Which is basically adapt whatever that means, however you can. It's, I guess, be prepared for it, because it's not. I guess it is difficult when you go into cons like this and you really do want the second day to be just as strong as the first. But the reality is, it's just timings and everything. It just isn't going to happen. I think one thing that, again, we were more fortunate in the situation of where our positioning, in the sense that we were on a main runway, so a lot of people would naturally come past us. But also, this is probably one of the larger overhauls you've had in general of your display recently. There were a lot of new additions to what was being put out there. I guess we should start from the back and work our way forwards. The key one being, we hinted at it before, and if you've been following our socials, you'd have seen us talk about it. But this was the first time you did a major overhaul on how you display the t-shirts.
With the shirt here. Not properly sponsored, but kind of, sort of. Yes, like you said, we were blessed with having a prime position, which, if you think about it, Jay, we only booked this event maybe 2 weeks after MegaCon London. And we fully confirmed and paid for this event only after PowerCon. to think that we probably had one of the best, if not the best locations you can have on the main strip towards the end, where people aren't rushing to get past the initial part, because that is a curse.
Yeah.
People who say, "Oh, I'm so happy, I'm by the entrance." Nightmare, eject, remove, never choose to be next to an entrance, because people will rush to get into the center of the venue always.
Yeah.
Never try to be at an entrance anywhere.
Yeah.
Also, even if someone stands there at the entrance and people are just walking past them and pushing to get in and out of the venue, people are going to want to move and not be in the center of people walking by.
Yeah.
So that is an absolute nightmare. We had the best location possible. We snagged it at the last minute, and I could not be more thankful to Brett from MegaCon, who helped us out, and
Yes.
for just lucking out, really. But it did help to have this new setup with the t-shirts that is almost as seamless as when I used to have my t-shirt boards. And I don't know if anyone in the chat remembers my t-shirt boards that I used to have stuck at the back on the back wall in the Velcro, when everyone used to ask me if they are they canvases? Are they fabric canvases? Are they tote bags next to each other? Are they prints?
There's something very joyful with this product, that it presents everything very flat, like that way of doing it, but they still read as t-shirts. They're still very clearly t-shirts. The full-length t-shirt, you can see the neckline. Like, it just very much is just, it still looks like a t-shirt. You cannot be like, oh, is this a tote bag? It's very clearly a t-shirt, but
yes,
it just presents the graphics so much better.
It does, and you don't have that annoying hook showing at the top and then have Velcro attached at the back to try and make it stick to the top, and then with its own weight pulls down and falls off, because these are durable. This is so strong, and with just a bit of strip of Velcro at the back, it just stuck so well.
Yeah.
How quick were we in putting them up?
It was so. I've done 2 MegaCons now. First one I did with the hangers, and in the best possible way. Plus the fact that it was my first time doing a setup, but doing the hangers, putting them up, velcroing them all, making sure they were all level. Fuck me, that was stressful. It was so, like, just because you want it to look good, you want it to look neat, but then you'd put it up and be like, that's not level, or that's wonky, and then you'd have to go up, yank it. Compared to this, there's video of it. The way I would just twat them on the wall, it's smack. There, done. Wasn't right. Just it was very easy. I think it was the fastest.
Easy.
Comparatively, so much quicker to put everything up. It was just like boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, I'm super pleased with it, and I will be singing its praises for forever. The only thing that is worrying me now is how I am going to cope with conventions that don't offer a backing wall. Because now I will always want this product with me. And I'm going to have to use the coat hangers again when we use the rail, which unfortunately is quite common. It's half our conventions.
Yeah.
As for the rest of the setup, there were a lot of small things that I don't know if people fully noticed, such as our cubby table that is over here. And this was also, Cubby says hi. How cute. Well, that was made, firstly, that was bought off Temu. No, full transparency. But I had a vision when I saw those tables, and I thought that could be done up to look like Cubby, and it would like just make the aesthetic of the table look better. And the takeaway from this is that whenever you're looking at table stuff, as soon as you give it your own brand colors, as
Yeah.
soon as you mask it, you tape it, you spray paint it, you slap foam on it,
Yeah.
maybe prime it before you do that. It is just going to round your table and make your brand stand out so much more. And I am very thankful for Jay to be a much handier person than I, because I tried and I failed, and I hate spraying things, and I'm not a crafty person, and I hate doing it. And kudos to all of you who work with your hands. It's abhorrent. I despise it. But
Alright.
I hate doing it. I hate doing anything with my hands, which is crazy. But yeah,
Yeah.
no patience.
No
None.
patience.
But you made it look beautiful. That is stunning. That is stunning.
It came together really well, and it did take multiple days for painting and coloring and its little tummy and its feet. Yeah, it all came together really well, and it fits in with all the color scheme of everything. It's very cubby.
It does. And now it has a little bow tie. How cute is that?
Yeah, he did have a bow tie at MegaCon. It arrived literally day as we got
The
back.
day after. It arrived the day after. And talking about things that are made by hand, small tangent. There's going to be so many tangents because there's people in the chat. This was made by hand and was presented to me during the con, which is a baby newborn cubby. And we have Ollie in the chat, who one of their friends made it for me. And I almost was in tears when I saw him because,
Yeah.
oh my God, look.
Yeah,
Look at the boy.
it's very cute.
Nah, Samania. Go.
The reaction to that being presented was the most adorably intense set of feelings I've ever seen. Human beings
He's so
witness
cute.
at once.
He's so cute.
Um,
I'm sad that my other cubby is on the other side of the room and I don't want to stand up because there's too much crap behind me. But yeah.
but little cubby actually became part of the display.
Did
Joined Little Red. Little cubby
Little
and
Red,
Little Red.
who's also here.
Little Red made their grand debut at the display.
Yes, and no one has any clue who Little Red is or why we are mentioning this character. But Little Red will be joining our cast soon. That's all we're gonna say. That's it.
Which we're very
That's it.
excited about.
Keep
But
it
yeah,
fake. Keep it fake.
they were there protecting the key rings, which they did a very good job at. We had the new table stand, which was very good. We also took a different approach to how some of the products are presented, including a return, I guess, after a long absence, of an actual price list.
Yes, who no one looked at. I don't think anyone looked at the price list. They looked at the deals. They enjoyed the deals.
Oh yeah,
which we need to talk about the deals like its own thing, right? But no one looked at the price list.
Yeah, bear in mind one of the initial visions for the table was that there would be this beautifully framed list of all the prices, and nothing was going to be labeled. It was going to be like, look at the price list. That's where the prices are. I think quickly on setup day, that decision was revoked very quickly. But there was an initial conversation of like, we'll focus less on pricing individual things and have just stuff saying this is the prices, which I'm glad we decided wasn't the best approach because, as you said, nobody looked at it.
No one looked at it. I think it was more evident when we did like the panning around the table for our socials, but most people did not glance at it. And it's quite funny because the prices are there and people still ask about the price anyway. So, let alone the price list that, it's not exactly where the product is.
Yeah.
But talking about new and returning things, we also had badge buttons return to the table that I haven't had displayed properly or even sold at all in a while. And they did well. I'm happy that we made them.
Yes.
Definitely might be investing a little bit more in badge buttons. Yep, that's the one. That's the boy.
Love it.
Surprisingly, the one that sold the least.
Yes. Everyone's like, screw Sonic.
It's funny. From the Sonic franchise, Sonic is the one that sells the less. But that's by the by. Who know who knew? Who knew?
Who knew that no one likes Sonic
Who
in the
knew?
Sonic franchise? They all prefer Silver. Well, this isn't Silver. This is one of his mates, but they all prefer Silver. Shadow. Knuckles got some love. Knuckles got a lot of love.
Knuckles got a lot of love. Yeah.
So, yeah. So are you generally happy with this layout? Is this one of the ones? Is this one of your most evolved ones, you reckon, or so far?
Definitely. Not only is it the best laid out, right? I think it is also the most aesthetically pleasing in terms of everything is just placed in a way that the eye travels to it organically. I'm really happy with how the prints are placed in the center. I still have one or two issues. I still have that dead zone behind Shadow that no one looks at. We still have the dead zone behind the t-shirt mystery Lucky Dip thing. We have not been able to solve that either. But beyond that, it's a solid 8 out of 10 for me.
8 out of 10. That's good. That's really good.
Not bad.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what the next evolution is of the display. I feel like some items probably have had their time, maybe need to be rearranged. I wonder how long the statues are going to remain at the front while they at risk of children beating them up. So many options. So many options.
If we want to tap into that conversation, we have had less people going to drop them this time because we put weights to their bases.
Yes.
And I think that helped a ton. The only one that didn't have a weight on his base was Silver, who was smacked.
Yep.
Okay, so just picture this, right? I was talking to a customer. Jay was serving another customer.
Yeah.
Rob was not far from us. He was rapping because when he sells one of his little eggs, little ducks, or little characters, he puts like tissue paper and wraps them around and gift wraps them and puts one of his stickers as a seal, right? And he does that behind the table. And so he was not looking at his actual where the statues were. He was busy serving a customer as well. When all of a sudden we just hear a massive thud, like something massive just fell, right?
Yeah.
We look and all we see is Shadow. Why do I always call him Shadow? Silver, laying on his back, like a cockroach, and his back quill was broken and detached, right? This is literally like an hour before the Raku events team was going to come and pick up Silver to take him to the Absolution gig.
Yeah.
Someone decided that it's a good idea to smack Silver or high five Silver or do whatever the actual they decided to do, right? Because we didn't see them. They didn't even apologize. They didn't say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Can I help some way?" No, they smacked it, ran away, broke his back. He is not doing well. He is not doing well. So Rob had to stop serving customers mid-Saturday in the most busy point of the day to go and glue the quill because the Raku Events team are on their way to pick him up. Which is wild. Wild. Why? You know what? We need to start having cameras.
Yes.
And just name and shame people.
Yeah, literally. Because, guys, Silver getting his backbone off. It's crazy. I it isn't crazy
Wow.
and uncalled for and just sort of insane. But it's nice to have him as a new addition to the gang, to the booth variety of hedgehogs.
It
Um,
is. It is. It
Whether
is.
he'll
I
ever
really
come back
like the
out
design of
again,
the character. Not gonna lie.
it's a good design. I'd be curious if he ever what would take for him to come back out of the woodwork again. I think I wonder how much of that was a one-off, one-off special occasion until there's another big Sonic event where a whole gang might show up. But
Yeah, I
I
think the
wonder.
next event that Silver will be appearing will probably have to be either SonicCon or by Miracle, maybe MCM, maybe.
Maybe.
No promises. It's a like 10% chance
Yeah.
that actually he will show up. You know.
So that's basically a good summary of all the numerous changes that happened around our booth. And it's crazy to
Yeah.
me as well, specifically, just how much changed since the last MegaCon, which was only in January. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And I think, yeah, the summary of the event was definitely better than previous years.
Yep.
But Sunday still, timing is unfortunate. I think many people found that.
Yeah. I agree.
It was also my second proper opportunity to help you out.
Yes.
Yeah, like I was trying to be a good little table helper, one of the table helper crew, and it was certainly interesting. It was so interesting how it compared to the first time. It was very different. I think. I think so. I don't know if I did any better or worse, but it felt very different anyway.
Tell us more. You go
Uh,
ahead. You keep telling us. Compare them. Actually, now that some time has passed, now that you are less embarrassed, less shy, less overwhelmed, tell us how it actually felt to be at your first big con at MegaCon in London. How did it feel for you to be there in that moment as a helper? Not as a, wow, this is a cool thing that I'm being a part of, but it's setup day, it's breakdown day, it's being behind a table during an event where customers are waiting to be served. How did it actually feel?
So I guess I sort of knew but didn't fully appreciate in London was how much it is. It is a job. It is work. It is a lot of work, and it was very much setup day. It was very much. I'm sure everyone can relate, especially when they've done their first like job maybe in retail or something, and they turn up and they're like, "Oh, I'm expected to do things. I have no idea what I'm doing, where anything belongs, what things mean, what this should be under the table, this should be over the table, this should be this way, this should be that way. This is how we hang up. This is how we Velcro a hanger to a thing. I'm glad I don't have to do that again. Hopefully, um, like just so many layers, which meant most of my time was not just being told, "Can you put the t-shirts away?" Like on pack down, as an example. It's like, okay, how? Because there are numerous answers, but there's one correct way to do it because as a business, every business has their own way of doing things and keeping stock, so they can stock check, stock count, and have it ready for the next event. So there was a lot of just like deer in headlights in London. In comparison, this time round, wow, there was still a fair amount of that, absolutely. There was something a bit nicer about the fact that while I would need to be told, okay, I need this task doing that next, for the most part, at least I knew what the task involved doing and what it was, so I could just get
Mhm.
on with it. Like I'm a pro at folding sweatshirts now, and the exact way to do it so they don't get creased, and the way they're folded and put in boxes, amazing. I know which way
Absolutely.
I know which way round to put t-shirts in trays. And again, I'm saying I know how to do it. I'm sure I mess it up, but at least in my head, I know this is the correct way around things are supposed to be, and this is the way we bring out stock and put it in tables, and this is how we assemble this table that we display stock on. Blah 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 blah. So in comparison, it was a lot more, still hard work, but less stressful, which I
Yeah.
appreciated. And I think also during the con days, manning the table, because there was none of that stress of like how do we process things, what do we do with cash, what's the process for pins, because pins have their own setup of doing things for us and stuff like that, in terms of like selling them and restocking them and stuff like that. Now that was all new, I felt a lot more comfortable this time to just focus on engaging with people and being a bit of the little twat that I can be, but just being like, just engaging and chatting, which made it a lot more enjoyable. And hopefully convince people to buy things.
So from my perspective, I would say that in London, you were more or less what anyone would expect for someone to be like when they've never done the thing and they're with someone who has done the thing and does it in a little bit, maybe a little bit of a bigger scale than what it really should be. Right? So I go in with all my full energy and like, okay, this needs to be done. This is this, this is this, this is this. And without wanting, without even thinking about it, sometimes you end up stressing a new person out even more because they're being faced with the this is my domain, I know what I am doing, right? And trying to be a part of that can be difficult. So that's by the by. This time around, I can genuinely say that on setup day, if you had not been there to go and sort out the print situation, which we will get into later.
We'll get into that.
I would have like lost my mind, right? I would have just crumbled, been in a pile in a corner, hugging my knees and like rocking back and forth, and just being generally upset.
Yeah.
But you sorted that out. You were like in it. You know, you didn't dilly dally. You were like, "Yep, I'm doing the thing. I'm going to sort that out." You did. You knew how to take the t-shirts, to put what sweaters on the rack grouped facing a certain way. When I said, "Oh, can you have some of them facing the other side at the end?" You knew where I was going with it, instead of being like other people who I have worked it in the past, Paul, who would be like, "Oh, why would you want to do that? Blah, 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 blah. Contrary. You just did the thing, like I said, and that's and that's it. He is going to be so upset at me for saying. But no, you knew what I was referring to when I asked you to help me with a certain thing. I think doing the podcast, seeing my table set up, being a part of the process of preparing for con 2, knowing what is in what box, and when I'm packing it away, I'm letting you know in advance, oh, this time I want to do this with this. You knew what was happening. So, yes, you needed some guidance in, oh, can you put the pins out now, or leave the stickers to me? Can you just do the mystery t-shirts and so on and so forth? You know, that is for me the ideal. I would rather tell someone what step is next, rather than them come and bulldoze and do half the stuff before I've even gotten a chance to understand that I'm at the NEC building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I am 1,000,000% grateful for all your help this weekend. You were absolutely fantastic. On top of doing all the podcast work and having a presence there yourself in some capacity. Yeah, I'm very proud of you. You did really, really well. You've improved so quickly in 2 cons.
2 cons.
It's crazy.
Crazy. I think the biggest difference is the things I took away, which I would actually say is a good advice for anyone who's wanting to help out their friends or family or whatever at these sort of things, is one, I really appreciate the second time, like, you need to be you don't need to be comfortable, but it really helps if you're able to, if you're good, if you can just talk to people, it really does help. I think the first
Yeah.
time I noticed, like I could still engage with people. It wasn't like I was hiding behind the table and scared to speak to anyone. But it would take me a little bit longer to be a bit more forward and get comfortable talking. Whereas I feel like this time that was a lot more easier. I would just outright talk to people who were walking by and stuff like that. It does help a lot. But then the other key thing was, I think anyone who is, it's a very big one, anyone who is helping out, when people who are running the table ask you to do something, just do it is the best way I can say it, because you can argue whether it's the right decision or not, but at the end of the day, it's not your business. So really, you just have to respect the decisions of the person who's, this is their livelihood. You're there to help. You're not there to negotiate business strategy with them. You're there to assist them in what they envision to be done. That's my opinion on it. It's very different, like when we talk about podcast stuff, because this is like an equal platform for
Yeah.
both of us. There is a lot more debate about what's the best approach. But when it comes to the, like, actually, this is where things should be, this is the way things should face, it's not my place to go, but why? It's my place to go, right, okay. Get it done.
Yes, and there is absolutely no reason for you, if that were the case, when we're doing breakdown, for example, or even when we're done with setup, we're having our meal at the evening, you can always say, by the way, when you told me to do those sweaters facing the other side, do you really think that is beneficial, or will it just be confusing to the customer? You know,
Yeah.
rather than, nah, I think that's a shit idea. You shouldn't be doing this like that. I don't want to do it like that. If you want it like that, you do it. Crazy talk.
Yes,
Crazy
I
talk.
think.
But we've all had a helper like that at one point or another.
So but yeah, setup was good. And we talk about setup, we talk about setup down, pack down, whatever you want to call it. But then obviously there's that whole
Breakdown.
con in between of actual, the whole trading part in between. Like, you haven't even touched on the
Yes.
actual trading of the whole
Yes.
event. It's always the case. I've learned this very quickly in the few events I've done now, including the smaller ones, that there are some items that just disappear, dust, and there are some that are gathering dust because they're still here
Wow.
and are not moving.
Wow.
And
my product's being called out. Wow.
And-
Dusty.
and I already see a mentality of like, oh, this line gets so many goes before it ends up in the mystery bucket, you know, like it gets so many chances.
Wow.
But it's true. It's amazing how there are lines that just sell, and we did some experiments as well this time with different variants of things to see would that work and whether it did or not. Obviously, you're the one who did the as the trader. Which items did you notice were like just sold like crazy? You had none left almost.
So I think probably if you were to make a list of every item that's sold as a group, for example, t-shirts, definitely the winners. But
Yeah.
I feel like at this point people mostly come to me for t-shirts now.
Yeah,
It is what it is, right?
yeah.
Pins were a close second, I would say this time.
Which is surprising, but also
Which is surprising based on, as you saw, MegaCon London, they started not selling anymore. But now that we did the group deal, everyone's like, woo, take all the pins again. So we're keeping that until we get rid of all those pins because, not gonna lie, I adore my pins. I love my collection of 400 pin designs that I've made so far. But a little bit dated for this day and age, we will say, right? However, the mystery lucky bag t-shirt thingy, that does really well. And FYI, because you said ends up in a lucky bag if you don't sell it, the t-shirts that are in there right now, they are not there because they don't sell. They are there because I changed the print size of my shirts, and I don't want to have the smaller print showing anymore. So everything that I had that was still selling, that was of the smaller print size, went into those bags.
Yeah.
Sir, correct yourself, sir. That said, if I could put stickers, postcards, and badge buttons into mystery bags, I fucking would because they don't sell. But again, stickers, now that we made a reasonable deal on them, they sold all weekend. That sticker rack looked shambles when I tried to record it. Half of it was like
It was
sideways,
crazy. Like,
like
so
a snooze.
for London, we sold t-shirts and we sold prints.
Yes,
That's basically it.
yes.
That's basic.
We
Everything
did, yeah.
else, and the concreative stuff, because obviously you would want to buy that. But everything else
Yes.
was like just, apart from the other thing, was basically, if I'm being really honest, decoration for a large part of it. It just wasn't moving. Compared to this
You're not
time,
wrong.
I think everything, including the keyrings, which I was so like taken aback. Someone asked about a
Facts.
keyring, and I had to go to you and be like, where are the keyrings? I've never had to sell a keyring before. I don't know where they're stocked. This hasn't happened before.
Fact.
Everything I think had a fair amount of movement to it. There was no dead air like category of stock this time around. It
Yeah.
was very, very impressive.
Yes. There's one or two things that I want to pick and remove from my table for good, which I don't know how to do. I actually would absolutely love for people in the comments of when we make this a clip of any social to let me know if there is old stock that you have so much of that even reducing it in price and putting it in mystery bags, you don't think you can get rid of it. What do you do with it? Do you bin your stock? Because I am so close to binning a wardrobe full of postcards. I literally have a wardrobe. I'm not joking. It is like a refrigerator size wardrobe full of postcards that I don't know what to do with. No one is buying them. They're £1 each. £1. £1 postcard that usually used to sell for £4 when we used to have them, right? And when they used to sell, which was like in theme. Now they're £1 each, and people still don't want them. What do you do with that? Tell me, because I'm going to make the biggest bonfire for Guy Fawkes Day made out of postcards.
I guess it's all about the deals. It's got to be the most crazy multi deal. Like you buy like a pack of 50.
Buy a pack of 50 for 5 cents. Just take it. Just take them.
I will pay you. Just get rid of it.
I honestly, at this point, actually, do you know that once I had this, my first Christmas doing cons, right? Picture it. I was so happy. So happy. Paul had just done this thing where at the pub, he did the trick-or-treating, blah, blah, blah. So for Halloween, we came back to con after Halloween with these bags of sweets, which two grown-ass men giving out sweets at their table, maybe in retrospect, not the best idea. But we asked every person who bought something from us if they would like a free packet of sweets, because Paul had bought so many for his den pub that we were like, why not? Do something with it. Make it a nice gesture. People absolutely loved it, right? So for Christmas, I was like, I am going to surprise people with these little bags with postcards inside, right? So I bought an extra stack of those stripy candy bags that we give out pins in and stuff, and put in random postcards, 5 of each, in each one, and whoever purchased anything above £10, they got 5 free postcards. To have a customer open it and be like, what is this? No, I don't want them, was the most soul crushing.
Not that no,
This was
thank you.
2019 and I still dream about it.
So
I don't want them.
that's it. Joey, in our chat, we are live streaming for those who are listening to this later in the future, makes it an interesting point talking about pins and offers and stuff, which is that apart from, for those who know, there's a very specific set of pins they do that do very, very well due to the fan base they're attached to. But he also says that apart from that, pins have been really slow for them all year. There is just no interest in pins. I guess we were feeling. Difficult. I guess until this multi-buy this time round, we were very much feeling that.
Yep. Yep. I fully agree. I I entered the convention scene in 2019 mostly as the pin guy.
Mm.
Right? We were there at the time. Magical Maidens had the pink aesthetic with all the magical girl pins and all the eventually Genshin pins, and I had all the Disney pins, and we were the pin people, right? Nowadays, I if I could Thanos snap pins out of existence and just get the money back from what I spent on them, they just aren't as worth it as they used to be. Back in the day, pins sold like hotcakes. A lot of my little drawers and stuff that I used to bring stock in would be empty by the end of the con. We had conventions where, and I take about 15 of each design,
Yeah.
right, with me. I have had conventions where on the Friday, on the slow day, the 15 sold. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, should we drive home and get some more?
Yeah.
Right? Now, it takes like 5 conventions to
Get
try and
through.
empty. Like, just take something, anything. But thankfully, we have t-shirts to fall back on, and t-shirts are just what are keeping me going, really.
Yeah. It's interesting what hasn't moved and has moved this time. I did mention earlier that we tried to do different things because we don't want to assume. Again, we mentioned in the previous episode, don't just, even if it works, and just don't do that forever. You've always got to be evolving and growing and changing and trying new things. And we did try some new things, including
Yeah.
2 variants on our Sonic t-shirts, and the Sonic t-shirts are generally doing well at the moment. There was
Yes.
the White Werehog
Yep.
version, which, to be fair, Werehog debuted completely at this MegaCon
Yes.
in black and white variants.
Yep.
But Metal Sonic, who's been doing so well, and I eat my hat because I did say out of all of them, I didn't think it would be the best selling one, and I was
You
wrong
said
because
the least selling one.
yeah,
You specified he would be the least selling one.
and I was so wrong because Metal Sonic and Shadow, to be fair, but Metal Sonic sells. So we thought, do a blue variant, Metal Sonic, sort of go for a Metal Sonic sort of
Yep.
color. How did the white Werehog and blue Metal Sonic do? MegaCon.
So, again, back in the day, my t-shirt wall was all colors with the exception of my Disney villain t-shirts. They were on black. The rest were all pastel colors, all bright colors, and they sold, right? Nowadays, if I have a single t-shirt that isn't on a black garment, it doesn't sell.
Yeah.
It will not sell at all. We sold out of the medium and the large Werehog designs only because there was no option in black left.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, but I want it. I guess I'll have it in white. It's like, okay, cool. And we sold out of the medium blue Metal Sonic t-shirt, again, because there were no mediums and large left in black. So
Yeah.
people were like, I guess I'll have the blue one.
Yeah.
But color t-shirts, not the thing at the moment. Like, people are going back to their emo roots and enjoying black t-shirts.
Not the emo roots. It's true though.
The emo roots.
They're not engaging in with the variants. And like, even with Metal Sonic, for example, people are like, oh, I love the Metal Sonic one, and I'd always offer them the blue one, and they'd always be like, no, I'll take black. I think most of the time it was like, no, I'll take the black one. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
well, we tried. We did try.
We tried. We're very trying.
Yes.
We do our best.
And I would say the White Werehog, personally, I think is the better of the two.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because the claw mark in white
Yeah.
on the black t-shirt absolutely makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
But I had to do it because I don't think people will gravitate more towards the white shirts.
Yeah.
However, they love the print in white.
They did. And the
Yep.
prints did really well. But they don't want them as t-shirts for some reason. They're just not interested
Yeah.
in them as t-shirts. Very frustrating. But I guess
Did our Instagram live die?
It's just rebooted. It's just come back to life.
Okay.
Instagram said, "Oh, you've been talking for too long about t-shirts."
Yeah, it's like I'm
You're
out.
done. You're done. It's over. So we, but I think generally speaking, because usually it's like, oh, what were our best sellers and what were our worst sellers? I don't think there was any particularly bad selling products. Like there was, I think generally the prints did well, except all the new design prints sold. I sold one of all the new prints at least. I think the prints hidden behind shadow struggled a bit, but even those
Yep.
some people did. The has been stuff didn't is waning. It is going. The interest is fading, in my
I
opinion.
think from the Hella has been verse
Hmm.
stuff, unless it's Luna or Alastor,
Yeah,
there is no longer any interest in
yeah,
prints, in t-shirts, in
hmm
sweatshirts, in
hmm
anything really.
yeah,
There's a lot of people who like the designs for the sake of the designs. Like, oh, I love that you did like a tarot look for Razzle and Dazzle, which I did not think of it as a tarot when I
yeah,
drew
yeah.
it. But now that's what people are associating it with. Um, but yeah, the sales are just not there. Um, and and yes, I in fact even removed my has been and Hello Boss designs
Yeah.
from my to-do list. I don't think. I think until the next season comes out,
Yeah.
I'm not really going to bother with those designs anymore.
I think it's that. I think everyone who's bought the stuff they want have already got it at this point. Until there's a new interest in it, well, again, I think there was a noticeable drop in general interest and stuff. Um, I think some people, I remember some people got excited about the Fizzaroli stuff. People still get excited when they see some of the designs, Stolas, for example. But in general, I think yeah, until the next season, I would hold out, which makes me feel for everyone who went all in on one pop culture thing, because it can be scary when that pop culture thing starts to trend off. Then it's like, well, what do we do now with all this stuff we've got? Uh, which is why Sonic's great, because Sonic never goes out of fashion, baby. Uh,
Our friend Cyan Hajime, a couple of good points. First, has been is living out to its own, to its name, and it is now has been. And it's fact that if you give customers too much choice, the amount of times that there are customers that stop at our table and you can just listen to their conversation with their friend, which fine, listening in on people's conversation is rude, but you're standing right in front of us.
yeah,
You know, what do you want me to do? And they whisper to the friend like, I want something, but there's too much. I don't know what
can't
to pick.
decide. Yeah,
I think we should just go. And you've lost the sale. You've had too much stuff. So I fully agree with Cyan Hajime. It is best to not
yeah,
give people a choice sometimes. And I 100% am going to double down on this when it comes to with t-shirt colors. The reason why I like having a standout color is because I don't want the backdrop of my stand to be all black, right? I want to have like one or two colors,
dashes of color. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But I think it is also condemning that design. If you give an option of a black shirt and the same design in another color, it is the doom of the other
yeah,
color.
yeah.
People will always go for a black shirt.
So Hajime also asks: Is it has been actually slower? Or is it just that Sonic is selling so well that it just makes it feel like it's selling slower? But I would say, if I think personally, again, I only have so much experience, but from my point of view, if I compare it to the last MegaCon, Sonic did really well. Has Been also did really well. Like they were like
Yes.
both doing well. Whereas this time, Sonic's still doing really well, and Has Been's like that. So it's not. There wasn't a change of shift. They were both here last time, and Has Been's
Yeah.
just gone down like that.
Yeah. I feel like maybe people are still into the cosplay because they're proud of the cosplay,
Yeah.
because they've put a lot of time and effort and love into it.
Yeah.
And that's why they're still wearing it and performing in it. But maybe that hyperfixation has died down a little bit because there's no new content. In the meantime, there's so much new stuff. There's so many big fandoms at the moment, and so many fandoms that are coming back, like Digital Circus. Crazy. Everyone's into Digital Circus, and I don't know where this show came from. I'm just freshly being educated on it. I watched 2 episodes 2 nights ago, and the existential dread is so real that I'm obsessed with it. Like, I am in love with Gummiru. Gummiru is my new favorite fucking cartoon character. Crazy. And that made me cry. And I shouldn't be crying over a gummy kangaroo.
You
Wait,
absolutely
no,
should be.
he's an alligator, right?
He's an alligator.
Wait, why
yeah.
is he Gummiru then?
Let's not think about it right
Okay,
now.
never mind.
Let's not think about it right now. Doesn't matter right now.
But anyway, that is a big thing. Cult of the Lamb seems to be coming back. Are people playing this game again? What is happening? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but people were cosplaying Cult of the Lamb a lot last weekend, sorry. People were asking if I have more Cult of the Lamb merch other than my pin and my sticker. So I guess I'm doing some Cult of the Lamb stuff for May, because you never know. Convert me, daddy. I don't know where we're going with this. There's a lot of hype around FNAF coming up, and I am so all in. Like, the level of I have Sonic stuff at the moment, by the end of the year, I'll also have the same amount of FNAF stuff. Watch the space. I'm obsessed with it.
It's just because, like, another movie coming out, that's going to be great. Which is interesting because you got to pick your trends wisely, because there's literally a Minecraft movie coming out, like, nowish.
Yeah.
And there is just no... The fandom is not there in terms of, like, people love Minecraft, but it's just not. I'm curious to see, knowing how popular Stitch has been in the past. Now there's another Stitch movie coming out in a couple of months. Will people be bringing out any Stitch stuff out of retirement? To jump on that.
And the one time that Trading Standard is going to ask you to remove Stitch stuff is going to be MCM May. Watch this space. You will see. We will be talking about the Stitch takedown. You'll see. Because it always happens. As soon as the movie IP comes out, that's when they actually scout for that specific thing.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about bringing Stitch stuff to MCM, bring it out on Sunday only. Only on Sunday. That's when the families come, and that's when Stitch actually sells.
And then, and then again, FNAF by the end of the year, and then next year will be Sonic again, because it's Sonic's 35th anniversary celebration next year. Easy.
Hurrah!
Hurrah! Birthday, sell stuff. Love it. That wasn't the only stuff that was new for us. So much new stuff, crazy.
So much new stuff.
Two very last minute prints made a debut.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Made their debut at the Jimbo illustration stand. So new that when I arrived to set up with the comedy the previous week, they fully didn't exist. It wasn't his they weren't ordered. They just didn't exist as prints. That happened like in 5 days before the con. Actually crazy, and kind of exciting for me, because they were official Sonic Cage Dome collaboration.
Do you have them with you?
They're downstairs. I was so prepared.
Rude.
Rude. He's like, they're in a box somewhere under 7 other
Oh my
boxes.
god. Oh my god, you're gonna make me move. I didn't even want to move, but now I'm moving. Because I still have the second pack.
Amazing.
I still have the emergency pack.
Yes. So, for those of you who don't know, Sonic Cage Jam has a long history of its own artwork through my days at the Sonic Show, but also for Sonic Cage Jam. And I have had an artist that I personally worked with since 2007. So literally, I started doing Sonic stuff in 2006. A year later is when this very close friend of mine called Josh got on board. He has designed all of my logos. He's designed the Sonic Show logo, most of its iterations up until the ones where I left. He drew this. He drew another design. He's drawn so many things. If anyone saw me wearing a silver t-shirt, which I've now promptly lost because I'm a chaotic human being, there was a silver t-shirt that I was wearing at this gig, Absolution gig. That was also one of his designs that was commissioned by me. And we were looking for some new designs and stuff, and we reached out to him and said,
Would you mind?
Would you mind?
Do you mind?
And I've got to say, it's because, yes, Josh did the artwork for me, and it's such good art. It's such good art. But Gilles, just his design knowledge and graphic design knowledge just really took it. Because you got to remember, these original pieces of art were just like Sonic. That's all there was. Everything else you saw in that print, that's all Gilles. Crazy. So literally, the background, the graphics, the design, everything put together by Gilles. And it just looks so good. It looks so good. And the other one, which is a Live and Learn inspired one, was actually drawn for me as a tattoo. This piece of artwork is on my body, which is
Let's not think about that.
Was drawn for me as a tattoo. And then we were like, we love this. We're gonna make it into. Let's make it into print. And Josh was like, fuck yes, let's do this. So there we go. All came together.
Yeah,
And
so it's all consensual. We're not stealing anyone's work.
no. Josh is very much
And
on
it's
board.
paid for work as well.
Yes, paid for. Josh is part of the process. He is a very low keeper. He doesn't do socials. He doesn't big up his art in any way, which he should do because he's so clever. But the Sonic and Shadow one did well, and it made me really happy that people really liked it. It made me really happy. They didn't know what a Sonic Cage Jam was. They're like, "What's this bit of text?" I don't know. But I was genuinely really happy.
Did they actually?
I no. Can you imagine that if that happened in front of my face, I would have just walked out and been like, "Fine." I'm irrelevant.
Imagine. I think I would be actually startled if there was anyone who is actually like a proper hardcore Sonic fan, not like myself, fake fan, and did not know. Did not know. You know, can you believe? But yeah, well, what we're talking about.
It was the first time that Sonic Cage Jam has actually sold stuff at a big event, or like there wasn't like specifically a Sonic event, and it's just nice that people responded well to it, and it made me really happy. It was like, the stuff that's from the vaults, as it were, is actually getting a decent showing now, which made me really happy, very very happy.
Yes. I still believe that we need to get Josh to make some redesigns of your older concepts and bring them to life.
So he started working on one already, which I won't say what it was, but one that we were looking at together, and we're like, the reality is like there's some really good concepts here, but just this art was drawn like 10 plus years ago, and just like his art style and work has gone crazy. It's evolved so much, so I'm very excited to see what he does with it now, and you will be seeing those prints going forward. That won't be the last time we see those prints, for sure.
Oh, definitely not. And to answer Cyan Hajime's comment, graphic design in general, ask me to make a logo and I will choke and hate it, and it's not my thing. But to create merch out of something and to like spruce a design up, to create composition from a character image or what have you. That is literally what I actually excel at.
Yeah,
So I have fun with it.
that's good.
If you need merch designed, let me know.
He's right. Very good. Yeah,
Yes.
awesome. So overall, we're happy. I think we're happy with the MegaCon weekend, generally speaking.
I think so. I think, again, considering that 2 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
I was not doing this event. And then we went through a whole ordeal of getting in touch with MegaCon, asking for a last minute spot, asking, well, technically for 3 last minute spots
Yeah.
because it wasn't just us, it was Rob, and it was the area we had the statues in, all next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
We we have built a good rapport with MegaCon through this experience.
Yeah.
Not because of any other reason aside from, I think, just showing how much we wanted to work with them
Mm-hmm.
and what we wanted to do, and
Yeah.
the photos we sent,
Mm-hmm.
and doing mock-up setups for PowerCon, and sending pictures of how things are improving, even from London to that point. I think there's a mutual respect there, and it is fantastic. So I'm genuinely pleased. The
Yeah.
only couple of things that I am not happy with over the weekend were my print situation, which I don't think is really anyone's fault. We're about to tell you what happened there. That was chaotic. And people deciding that knocking over Silver, breaking his quill, and walking away with not as much as a sorry was acceptable. I will
Yeah.
say, if I do manage to start filming security, watch the space. I will post it. I will post whoever breaks any of those
Name and
statues.
shame.
And
Say their names.
I am very sorry if you had absolutely no shame as a parent, as a child, as a cosplayer, as a fan, to go up to someone's property and slap it and throw it on the floor and break it and not even apologize, then you shouldn't be embarrassed for the internet to see it,
Yeah.
regardless of who it is. So,
Absolute facts. We should probably tell people what happened as Prince before we go to a break, because
yes.
the journey went on. So, settle down, children, as I tell you a deep, terrifying story. So, as we mentioned, these prints we did for Sonic Cage Dome were all at the very last minute. We did, it was all fair games, but we made the order, and it very clearly said when we placed this order that the earliest they could deliver was Friday, which obviously, oh dear, that's not going to work because that's setup day. We won't be home. We'll be traveling. Turns out, MegaCon, don't worry about it. There's a whole setup where you can have things arranged to be delivered to the venue, directly to the venue on setup
Mm-hmm.
day.
Yep.
Fantastic. Amazing. We'll do that then. Have that all arranged. Perfect. Thursday comes around. We get a delivery notification saying our prints have been delivered with the most beautiful delivery photo of what just looked like the back end of a container in on a wall,
And gravel on the floor.
and gravel. And for those of you who are familiar with the NEC, that's not very helpful because it's a big building and there's so many entry points to that whole exhibition center. So, like, okay, so there's a tiny A4 stack of box in the NEC outside somewhere. Amazing. Oh, what? It's Thursday. Doesn't make sense. So back and forth. What's going on? We literally ordered them to this venue because you said you couldn't deliver it earlier than Friday. Help. No. To be fair, the people you used for prints are actually really good.
They were good, and they replaced them without any issues.
They're like,
Thankfully.
don't worry, we will we'll sort it out. We'll replace them. Fantastic, amazing. We will send them again, and we'll basically what happened is some of the stuff we'd sent early because it had been done a day early, so we just sent it all out.
Yep.
So what we'll do is send out now. Advice to businesses: don't do that. But they sent it all out, and we're like, okay, fine. So what we decided was, okay, can we have it delivered to our hotel?
Yes.
Because that way, if we have it delivered to the hotel, one, it's not the scope of the NEC, so it will be quite easy. Like, we'll just go to the hotel, we deliver to the reception, we can
Yep.
pick it up. Fantastic, amazing. Right, day arrives, packed down, set up. Sorry, we all arrive. Wonderful. We know. Okay, we have print somewhere, and we have a delivery notification. Amazing. They've been delivered. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Even in the picture, he does little lobby cut things, that trolleys that they put suitcases on. It was sat on one of those in a building. Amazing, fantastic. So it's arrived at a hotel. That's good.
Obviously, we're rest assured that they're safe, right? They're fine. Yeah.
So our delightful friend, very very close friend, Rob, rings them up for us and just goes blah blah blah. Basically, just want to confirm that the response we get is, "Oh no, we haven't. No, don't know what you're talking about. Don't have those. Are you sure you sent it to the right hotel, or did the delivery people deliver it to the right ibis?" And I was like, "Okay, well this is hilarious. Like, amazing, can't wait." Back and forth. You were on the phone for a long time to get through to whichever the courier it was to get confirmation of what had happened, and once they finally got through to them, they said, "We can see the GPS, we can see the details, we can see what time, where it was, and it's definitely the right location. They were there for a couple of minutes." Amazing. So again, hotel are like, nope, it's not there. So this is the point where you very calmly turn around to me and say,
please fix it.
Please fix it. Sort it out. And I'm like, okay. So off I go.
I'll be right.
Not realizing how. By the way, for added context to this whole story, I had not paid my phone bill because I'm very naughty and I hadn't paid it, which meant I had no data. So I had to. For those of you who understand how far away some of the hotels are from the NEC, I had to make my way to a hotel I'd never been before with no Google Maps, no nothing, just directions of like, turn left here, walk up these stairs, enter a portal, climb a cloud, and you'll be there. It's like, great, okay. Finally got there. Finally got there and joined the queue. So everyone's checking in because, of course, that was the time of day it was. Finally got to the reception desk, and there's just a wonderful human being who was behind the desk, who I spoke to and said, "Hi, we had a parcel delivered here. We're checking in today, and I just come to collect it." I didn't even give them the opportunity to talk about, you said it wasn't here. I just said, "Oh, it's been delivered. I'm here to collect it." And they looked blankly in my face and said, "Oh, I'm really sorry. We haven't had your parcel delivered." It was on the desk. It was literally on the desk. It was
inside
there. So they were like, "Oh, we haven't had it," and I was like, "It's that." And the guy was just like so dumbfounded. He didn't know what to say. He brought another actually wonderful woman, and she was like, "Oh no, this is clearly yours. Can you just prove it's yours?" And I was able to prove it was ours. She's like, "Yeah, have it, of course. I'm really sorry that we've wasted your time." It was like,
you did.
Yes, you literally did. But it's just the way he was like, "Oh no, we haven't had your parcel," and I have to be like, "It's literally there. It's literally there. That parcel with our name on it. That's just like." And then I carried it all the way back to the NEC. Very tired.
Good soldier.
Yes. But just to like, when he was like, "Oh, we haven't had a parcel," I was like, "Are we going to play games today?" Okay, great. So yeah, apparently some people have parcel blindness. It's a serious condition they should have a look at. Yeah, we got the important thing is we got the prints at the end of the day. Amazing. But
amazing.
Don't ever tell me to my face that my prints aren't there when they're directly in front of me.
Literally there.
I will throw hands. Like, imagine. Oh, the most campus hands you've ever seen. More like jazz hands than throwing hands, but yeah.
Crazy.
I will express my anger through the art of dance at you violently. Yeah, so we got them in the end. So we love con setup. Such fun. On that note, before we talk about hedgehogs and their involvement at con and the other thing they got involved in that weekend, I think we should take a little break. Just a tiny little break.
Mm-hmm.
Tiny little break. maybe we'll also show you the joys of the t-shirt, the Shirt Hero product. Yes.
In case you haven't seen it already.
In case you haven't seen it already, shall we watch it again? I think we should. Let's take a very quick.
T-shirts are the main focus of my table, and I have struggled with finding the right way to display them. For the longest time, I have been using just regular hangers. I wanted to find something that is a little bit better to display the shirts, to make the creases of the hanging shirt less evident, to be able to put the sleeves backwards so it saves up on space. And I came across this lovely product over here called the Shirt Hero. Now, the purpose of the Shirt Hero is to mount sports shirts onto walls. The way that it works is that you slide this in to the neck part of the shirt, hold it in, and then clip that part to the back, and it gets stuck to a wall, which is done through adhesive like this. However, I thought, what if instead we put a Velcro strap to the back of this, put our t-shirt front side up instead of back side, like a sports shirt, and just hook it to the Velcro that we are given on the back walls at cons. And I am very satisfied with the product. Not only were they much easier to place on the wall, it is just slap it on, remove it, put it back on. If it doesn't fit exactly where you want it, you can just slide it and arrange it like this so it aligns properly. Honestly, genuinely brilliant. I was able to get in touch with Mike, who runs Shirt Displays UK. Lovely fellow, wanted to work with us on this. I bought 30 of them and they all came in immaculate condition, and overall it's a product I'm very, very happy with. A lot of people at MegaCon Birmingham asked me about the layout of the shirts and how neat it's looking, and this is the secret, the Shirt Hero.
Except for that very unsmooth transition that I just did. Amazing. By the way, if people watching, if you heard us talking throughout the whole commercial, let us know, because it's good for tech knowledge. We were just chittering and chattering away during that whole thing.
Yes,
you only heard the commercial. Please let us know that too, because.
And can you hear us now?
Yes. Can you imagine? Oh
no sound.
No sound. Just nothing. Just silence. Right. So we're back. And we're here to talk about hedgehogs for numerous reasons.
Yes.
Number one being, I guess the good way to start it off. No one heard us through the advert. I just had confirmation, but they can hear us now. It worked as I intended. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Shout out to our friend from Glasgow, Little Shop of Chaos. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic friends.
Yes.
Much love.
Love them. So, Silver the Hedgehog made their debut made his debut at MegaConLive, but he wasn't made for MegaConLive. He was made for another event, which we'll get into. But yes, his initial day was spent at MegaCon. Now, he had quite an adventure getting there. He has been through a lot. For Hedgehog, he has been just treated in the most wonderful ways possible. He is also, due to his shape and size, one of the more delicate and complicated hedgehogs we've had to deal with, which is why numerous points. His foot fell off at one point. His hand is to this day a bit dodge. As we said
Arthritis is a bitch.
And
now his quill broke because of some
just clear fell off.
Jackass.
I want to talk a bit about how Silver was received at MegaCon, because I got to see it firsthand by a lot of Sonic fans, and I found it fascinating. So bear in mind, when Shadow made his debut at the last event, the affection, the love, the photographs. They're like, oh my goodness, my boy is here. We love Shadow. I took him. He wasn't painted, mind you. I took him along to. I just read that.
Me too.
I just took him along to the Sonic meetup where they do a lot of conventions now, and Shadow was just adored, and they were taking pictures of him and like doing cool poses and stuff. This time, Silver came along to the meetup, sorry, for the photographs, and two interesting things happened with Silver. One, people repeatedly asked me, is it okay if I take a photo doing this at him? So, yeah, if you want to flip the bird at Silver, go for it. So lots of people going up to Silver and being like, fuck you, Silver, and taking photos. Don't know what that was about. Then he became a shrine, as if he had died. Someone started they had like the rings on their arms, they put that on his quills. Someone hung up like a necklace on him. Then someone they had like a face mask of Infinite that went on him. Then
shoes.
Then this is where it got really weird, because I think when people were running out of things, like some people doing chaos emeralds and stuff, and then people are like, I don't have anything, have one of my shoes. And then they were just surrounding him by like one shoe there are people around me just wearing one shoe. And it just became Silver's shrine of shoes.
Who knew?
I was
Silver.
fully expecting
Foot fetish, trainer fetish,
like he was clearly into it, because I think it was so close.
He had a smile.
He had a smile on his face. And I think there was a point where people were going to start bowing and praying at him. It got really intense, like the way they were worshipping this like hedgehog as a shrine. And then just all these Silver cosplayers just got together and took all these lovely group photos of Silver and his massive collection of shoes.
It is lovely.
It was just... I love the Sonic community.
Wholesome.
I've been in the Sonic community for a long time. This is one of the weirdest interactions I've had with the Sonic community. I will say though, when he was...
You are a strange bunch, to be fair.
We are, to be fair. We are a very unique crowd. I will say, because he was carried out of the venue, he was carried back in, but he was carried back in on a trolley, because I quickly learned I'm not physically strong enough to carry that boy. And he was wheeled in, and when he was wheeled in, like the Queen doing a royal tour, the cheer Silver got, it was very nice. So, very mixed messaging. I can't tell if people like Silver or not. Like, I think he might be a meme to them, and they just love him because he's a bit of a meme.
I think people do love him, but they love being mean to him.
Yes.
Right?
Like, the way...
Because if people were indifferent to the character or didn't care, then there just wouldn't be any interaction. Whereas this still invoked a fun... People were laughing, people were smiling, people were still engaging. At the end of the day, that's what we're doing it for, right?
Yeah. He seemed to go down better at the Absolution gig that we'll be talking about later. He generally
where he still got the finger, to be honest.
He still got the finger a few times, but he did well. He stood outside. He was opposite the bar and the merch stand, and after a while, I made sure that he was actually, because he has like hands like this. I was like, he needs to be displaying merchandise, so he did his job selling wares. Good little hedgehog. It is amazing he made it back and forth, because he traveled via a duvet in the back of a very small car. It's not designed for massive hedgehogs. He did very well. Very well. And thank you to Jake and Kay for taking the utmost care of him. You did a wonderful job making sure that he arrived back in one piece. Even though we fully gave him the disclaimer. If he comes out of your car and he's in 7 bits, don't worry. That's just Silver. Don't worry about it. That's just destiny for Silver. It's not your fault. It's just the way he's built. But despite that, they still managed to keep him all in one piece, which I was really, really happy about. I think it's a shame his quill came off. I think it's a good example that we've discussed many a time now, that just people not having respect for items.
Boundaries.
These events and these statues that are there to take photos with, but they're not toys. they're not oversized playthings. They're there to be stood next to, not to be like fiddled with and torn around and stuff. And I noticed it wasn't. I didn't see as many kids doing it this time. I think it was a bit more spread evenly, with people being a bit like careless. Rob did tell me there was one instance where a kid was playing with the two has-been figures that were there. Also, all of this printed by Printing Like Rabbits, and this kid was like yanking at the two has-been characters, and Rob stepped in and was basically like, "Don't do that, thank you." And the parent said, "No, he's fine." I would be like, "No, no, he's not fine. Get your child away." No, he's fine. The idea that someone could be destroying your stuff and manhandling your stuff, and then you be corrected to say, "No, it's okay for them to do that." No, absolutely not.
I want to. Oh, this is going to be one of those things that you would normally edit out. I want to have a water bottle, a freezing cold water bottle with ice.
Yes.
And as soon as a parent or anyone says something really fucking stupid, just spray them in the face. Be like, bad parent, bad, do better. And then they just sit there soaked and humiliated.
Be embarrassed. I think
Be embarrassed.
Be embarrassed. Yes, that would be something I would usually edit out. You live viewers getting all the juicy bits.
The real me. Woo! Spraying water on people like they're dogs. Start clicker training and spraying parents to do better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Embarrassment.
Get a spray bottle like the ones you have for cats. Absolutely.
Exactly, 100%.
I think it's necessary at this point because, I know why this kid's not having respect, because the parent is not showing respect. So there we go.
Exactly.
It's a learnt behavior. I think the other interesting thing was the previous event, PowerCon, that you did. You talked a lot about how Shadow and Sonic were frequently on their way to landing on top of a child because of how careless kids were being, Yankee stuff. This time, not so bad, because we had stuck weights on them.
The weights on them, yeah. That was definitely a very good shout from our friend Rob, Printing Like Rabbits. We placed literally weights, literally dumbbell weights, onto the bases. Mm-hmm. He covered his with a nice velvet cloth. Mm-hmm. Obviously, on mine, there isn't enough space to cover it with anything. Yeah. So it just was a weight. But it didn't look bad because we put flyers on it. So it's fine. But at least there was no risk of the statues toppling over. Yeah. I do think, however, at some stage, the statues will be placed on the back of the table rather than the front.
Yeah, I think so, for sure. It's a shame that people don't respect these things. I mean, we talked about it, Jeff, so we won't go into it again, but I think it just shows that, even though we made a whole video with a child visibly attacking Shadow, and how we basically said you're a bad parent if you let it, if you think it's funny, the parents who needed to see it unfortunately did not see it, and it is still continuing to happen, which is a great shame. And I will say, for all the Silver fans who flipped the bird at Silver and told him he was a worthless hedgehog and a disrespect to the franchise, they at least said it without breaking him. So I'm just saying, there are ways to be mean to the hedgehog, but physically attack.
Oh, no. That's what I loved about those interactions specifically. Those same people were still the ones who, when I was alone at the gig or when I was at the table, would come up and say, "Oh, you did such a good job with this one as well," not knowing that I have literally absolutely nothing to do with it. But they were still happy that the opportunity was there. They were still mindful and respectful. Yeah. Yes, there was flipping the bird. It's a gag. It's a lol, right? But
it's still done with it.
It's not there's like knocking him over.
Yeah, and there's a level of respect about the art of the product and everything.
Agreed.
There's no disrespect to that, which I really appreciate. I think I'm learning more and more as I do cons about etiquette and good behavior at cons. Less good behavior at cons. This is something, again, as well as attacking statues, that happens a lot. something that's always been at every con I've ever been to, and has only in this last one for some reason really triggered as being suddenly very conscious of it, was some of the walk around characters at these
Oh
events.
god, oh god, oh god. Okay.
And I would like to take a moment to talk about Daleks at a convention. Because
Serenity now, serenity now, serenity now. PTSD. PTSD. I literally went red. Like my face just went very red.
So, as the one who edits these episodes, usually, like you've already seen a bit that I would usually edit out of Jill, and this is possibly something that I would usually just cut out completely if I think I've gone too far. So we will see where this goes. Because usually I like to censor myself quite heavily. I don't like them. I don't want them there. I don't enjoy them there. For the most part, I'm generalizing, which is not I shouldn't do, but I think just because the amount of times, it's so more often than not that the people who do these Dalek things are sometimes don't understand what banter is, don't understand the concept of banter with literal strangers and the barriers of what's just polite and nice. And I've seen it happen before, and it happened at MegaCon, where some of these Daleks just gave me the ick about the way they were talking about other cosplayers around there. It made me feel gross, and I didn't like it. And I know it's all jokes and LOL, locker room banter, which isn't a thing in my opinion. But I was like, you wouldn't say this outside of that stupid Dalek suit with your little voice box. Like, you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it, because if you did that just in your casual clothes, people would say, dude, that's a bit, maybe don't do that. But because you're in a Dalek suit going around, sometimes blaring music, also don't like that. That should just be stopped.
Please, Deadpool's Deadpool away. Stop. It's not funny. It's just annoying.
It's not funny because you're all doing it, and then if you get too close to each other, it becomes a cacophony of just bleeding music all at the same time. So I don't like that. But yeah, I think it's because, I don't know, something about the last MegaCon specifically, the Daleks really bothered me, and especially because, again, I saw more than one instance where they were just, their humor was pushing it a bit, I think, and I didn't think it was appropriate. Secondly, I would be trying to film stuff, and they would be there, and I'm like, go exterminate something, go away. Like, I don't have time for this. Like, they would just be sitting around chatting, so desperate for attention. It was just like,
they are, and also they have speakers attached to them, as you can imagine, because obviously you're not going to hear a guy from inside or wherever from a distance talking. They have speakers. They're very loud. The talks, the things that they say, in one instance, it was 3 of us behind the table, and we were looking at a Barbie cosplayer with an older gentleman. Could have been a relative, could have been a friend, could have been an absolute stranger. We don't know these people's story. And the Dalek just decided to intercept and be like, hey, you Barbie, is that your Ken? You could have chosen a better Ken. Like, fuck off. Go away. And last year, Paul and I had a similar situation where there was a female cosplayer being harassed by a Dalek, chased down. We could literally, and he's talking about her body and what her body looked like in the cosplay and what she chose to wear. Like, get those ruckuses that are outdated. No one's around chasing Daleks anymore. All those people are no longer at con. They are at LFCC looking for freaking signatures from people. They're not at MegaCon. Just go away.
I want
Please.
to genuinely know, and I don't know the answer to this. So I would love to be educated on this. But like, I know, if you are working at a theme park, for example, and you're as a character, there is so much training in terms of boundaries and what you can and can't do, and how to make sure there's a safe space for everyone. I would like to know that when people are intentionally going around, because also that there are cosplayers, but I feel like when cosplayers go around, a lot of cosplayers are going as themselves in cosplay, whereas these Daleks, for example, are going around as Daleks. They're not going around as Bob, dressed as a Dalek. They're going around as a Dalek, where they have
Exactly.
complete you can't see who they are. That word's escaped me. I can't say that word out loud.
Anonymity.
Thank you very much. They're hidden. So like, I want to know what. I assume there are checks in place for people who do things like that. I assume. I don't know, but it just it's something I want. I'm now decided I'm going to have to find out about. It just I think I think at the end of the day, it's just the main fact they're just really annoying. And I'm not in on the joke, so I don't think it's very funny.
Genuinely, if they went around just quoted Doctor Who stuff, if they went around and beep up boop Star Wars shit all day, every day, and just stuck to a script, stuck to the character, and made cute interactions. There are moments that they were very cute when they stopped to take photos with children, blah, blah, blah. That is fantastic. That has space in the convention ambient. Yes, brilliant. To go around and try and engage with people and chat to people while you're in front of someone else's table and comment about their cosplay or who they are or what. No one wants to talk to you. No, they're not. If they're not stopping to take a photo with you, they don't want to engage with you. They're not interested in the Dalek. They're not interested in the R2D2. Stop trying to behave like charities, which is another major thing at conventions. These charities that are there for cats and dogs, and they see you walk past and they come up to you like some religious cult and are like, oh, do you like dogs? No. Oh, you're a bad person. Walk away. No one wants to engage with these people. Stop forcing us.
I was taking Silver back to Printing Our Rabbit's booth, and I went past them, and they were like, oh, I think it was the cat one. They're like, oh, do you like cats? And I didn't say anything, but I was like, clearly I'm a hedgehog person. Like, can we not?
Actually, okay, I have a story about this.
Okay.
And it's a funny story. So, MegaCon Birmingham last year, right? It didn't go well for me. I had the face of a smacked ass, right? It was not great. I looked miserable as fuck, walking around, angry pacing around, right? And there's these charities, again, these freaking animals, and they're like, oh, do you like cats or do you like dogs? Yes. I don't want to sign up my bank account to anything related to them, though. You know what I mean? Anyway, so this gentleman walks up to me with his little clipboard, and I'm like stewing, angry pacing, Karening down the aisle in the middle. And he's like, do you like dogs? And I'm like, no. And he looks at me and he says, what? But I bet you like bears. And I'm like, whoa! Slay. Made my day. Instantly felt better. So that one man can come back.
That one person.
You
are welcome back.
Calling me out in the middle, right there, in front of everyone. And I just took it. It's fine.
It is a valid point though, because you have these charity people, these stupid Daleks. The Star Wars ones I don't mind around because they're like, if it's a droid, the most it can say is beep boop, which doesn't, and it's like not very tall, so it's quite easy to like not be overstimulated by it. And generally, I find when Star Wars characters are like in character, they are in character and not being weirdly personal. They're just talking about stuff I don't know. I don't watch Star Wars, but they're generally a lot less annoying. But it is. Conventions are already, in their nature, just very overstimulating. There is like a lot going on.
It's so loud, so much,
and like, should conventions look at putting more rules in place into how noises are regulated? A good example being Deadpools. Should they be said, maybe you don't need to play a boombox at the highest level, continuously walk around? Or are we just being spoil sports?
Okay, so firstly, our Instagram died a death, but you might want to refresh the Instagram live. It just, we're frozen with our mouths open. I don't know what's going on. Okay. But that aside, right? I would say that there is so much. I think everyone here who's been at con or trades at con, so on and so forth. You know how tiring and overstimulating and exhausting it is to be there. If you're there with a child or with whatever, and there's so much noise, if you're in cosplay, if you're in a fursuit, whatever, there's already enough. There's enough, right? There's so much, it's enough. We don't need extra loud noises from Buddy selling swords and Japanese sweets down the corner playing Titanium while we're setting up. I don't need that. Who needs that? No one needs that. There's a stage doing a cosplay masquerade 2 meters away. I don't need to listen to Sia at the same time. Right? I also don't need to listen to that one track from Deadpool. One. Over and over all day, because the 50 Deadpools, the most unoriginal, except for I have one Deadpool cosplayer friend and he's awesome. But the rest, very much the same, wearing the same yellow thing and doing the same boombox, very loud. And it's funny, as soon as they see someone looking at them, they're like, oh, play the song again. No,
That's
bro.
not why I was looking at you.
That's not how I'm looking.
Yeah, I think, we need to accept that not everyone wants to hear that one song from NSYNC. Great job. You thought it was very funny in the second movie. Well done. It's very good. Unfortunately, everyone's had that idea already, which is nice.
Yes.
I don't even necessarily mind. There are some circumstances where I don't mind. I think it's just because, like, if that's the whole thing, and like they do laps, they're like, oh, he's back again with his little boombox. Like, I don't know. I just think if I was attending a con, I would find that a bit much, personally. So
it is. It's all too much, and I really wish that people would be a little bit more mindful. I'm not saying for no one to play music. I'm not saying for you to not listen to music while you're setting up. But headphones are a fucking thing. Maybe use them. You know what I mean? Because there's other people in the building. The building is not just for you. We had a very lovely lady next to us at Paracon. And I'm sure that Toranako right now is in the chat, Glasgow's, thinking, oh my god, he's going to talk about the American lady. This American lady decided that because no one was speaking to her during setup and during the day, oh, why not? Let's just play music. So loud that we couldn't hear each other talk behind the table. Right? And we're trying to set up, we're trying to get on with our day, and I am stewing. The way that this woman would not take any cue of please lower the volume. Yeah. Because she couldn't hear. Because it was so loud. Yeah. Anyway, I was going to eat that speaker, but I didn't. Because thankfully, someone came and talked to her, and she was like, oh, I can't hear you. Maybe I'll put the music down.
Well.
Yep.
Funny how it works. Yeah. I think, I don't know, just the volumes at some of these events are a bit crazy.
She does that at every con.
Called out.
Called out.
But there are, if you want to listen to loud music, there are plenty of places designed for you to listen to music at a louder volume that is not necessarily a convention hall. I'm just saying. One of those places could be Absolution, a Sonic the Hedgehog concert.
Wow! That's segue though! Wow, I'm impressed.
I'm such a professional. Yes, we went to the Bentley Jones Absolution of Sonic the Hedgehog concert that Saturday night of MegaCon.
Did we? We haven't spoken about this ever.
We haven't talked about it. I am impressed we went.
I'm impressed we made it on time.
Because, also
crazy.
Because, okay, the context, it had been a long Friday setting up, prints missing, all the sort of stuff.
Yep.
We then went to have drinks with friends and people we hadn't seen for a while, so we stayed up a little bit later. Not crazy, but just later than maybe you would in the con day. We then went through the whole con day. You weren't feeling super well for Saturday morning.
I was dying
No,
on Saturday morning. I
Uh,
was not well at all. If we had a hotel that was actually walking distance, because that was walking distance, but it was like half an hour walking distance. That does not convey walking distance to me.
yeah, like, can you walk to it? Yes, but is it a pleasurable? Maybe not.
Yeah, I would probably have gone back and lied down for half an hour because I was feeling so poorly. I was sweating 1 second. I
You
was
were,
freezing the other
you were,
second.
yeah.
It was crazy. I was feeling all sorts of sick. But
And another piece of context for the Bentley Jones Absolution and Sonic the Hedgehog concert was the fact that the convention finished at 6 p.m. Doors
yes.
opened at the Bentley Jones Absolution and Sonic the Hedgehog concert at 6 p.m. That's when doors opened. So literally 0 minutes. So because the original plan was we'll get there before the gig even starts. We'll do some behind the scenes as the podcast. It's going to be great. We'll bring Silver because we'll have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Clearly became apparent that wasn't possible. Luckily, that's where Jake and Kay
No.
very graciously took Silver away. But
Thankfully.
we finished the con, went to our hotel, got changed. Basically, we didn't no time for naps and sleeps. We carried on our journey.
We ran.
It was the, you know how people say like there's like walking time and then like the gays walking time, like the amount of power walking happening was crazy. And then
Yes.
we got to the event just as Bentley, the headlining act, started just after 8 p.m. Tiring.
Yeah.
Very tiring. I'm amazed we made it. I'm amazed we got there. But I have to say, I'm so glad we did. I am so glad we did. It was
100%.
such a good concert. And
It was amazing.
I will say as well, it was my kind of Sonic gig, if that makes sense. I think it is much more a style of music that appealed to me. I love Crush 40, I love all of that, but just Bentley's style of music is something I genuinely quite enjoy. They did so well. They did so well. Mind you, for people who don't know Bentley Jones, other than the singer who dreams of an absolution, the theme of Silver the Hedgehog, hence the title, they generally perform at cons, they perform at prides and stuff, but they don't get the opportunity to do a lot of big solo gigs. So this was quite a big deal. And I was so pleased with how the reaction from the audience was. I think they got all the love they absolutely deserve. And the energy in the room was just so good. There was such a positive vibe in there. Everyone was so encouraging and just enjoying being there. I vibed very much in that space. Very, very much in that space. And you enjoyed it despite not really knowing Sonic music that well, other than Live and Learn.
What do you mean? Live and learn. That's the only song that I know. And now, obviously, I know a couple of others. But no, it was fantastic. I have a background in music. I fully appreciate Bentley as a talented artist. More so because he's a talented independent artist. He is us, but in the music world. And that is... oh, kudos. It is a whale of a endeavor trying to get into the music scene when it's all by your lonesome. Immensely well done. There are so many badges of honor on Bentley's resume. Fantastic. Honestly, people went there thinking, oh, Bentley, did the Sonic music, and then realized, oh, Tekken 7, Devil May Cry, all these other things. Incredible. And I think my favorite part of the evening was rallying the troops getting them to go to NQ64 after at about midnight, one at night, and then getting to actually socialize with Bentley and talking afterwards about what it is like being an independent artist and being a queer artist in their 40s, and what it is like to be in this universe,
Yeah, because
fantastic person. So looking forward for the opportunity of seeing them perform again, and more importantly getting time to hang out.
yeah, I enjoyed the gig so much. I was really proud of them and everything they did. I think it's kind of funny when they finished and they came down. Everyone was asking for autographs and stuff, and I just came over, gave them a hug, and was like, "Do you want drinks after this?" Because Jake and Kay are probably too polite to say, but do you want drinks after this? It's your birthday. And they then back
Yeah.
and was like, I would like that a lot, please, thank you. And then like the Pied Piper, we ushered the group of the gaggle of Sonic people off to the bar, and it was a good night. And yeah, it was nice to hang out with Bentley and in less of a work context. It was very good to catch up with them. I'm very happy they were happy with the video that the Com Creatives did for them that was played in the gig. It was nice to see Com Creatives up on the screen.
It was
Massive letters.
You did very well. Very impressed.
So
You got a big cheer.
Yes.
Big cheer from the crowd.
We love that. So overall, very, very happy with it.
It was really good. Instagram died again.
It did. It has. How rude. How terribly rude. That's a good point for us, maybe, while I fix that, to take a little quick break before we do our closing segment, I think. Very good.
Oh, is that all we're going to say about the Bentley gig?
What would you like to say about the Bentley gig?
Fix Instagram, though.
I'm doing it as you speak.
I'm literally getting DMs. Where's the live? The live ended.
It's being done as we speak.
Done it. It's done it.
But for everyone else who's still watching.
Button Bell in the chat is like, come on. Come on. Snaps. I don't think we can we can talk about the gig without also saying the incredible admiration we have for Bentley's performing and dancing at the same time.
Yes.
I cannot walk to the fridge without losing my breath. And to be able to sing upside down while spinning on a pole with the most fit legs ever. I am so impressed. It has been now a week, and there has been at least one point every day where I was like, oh God, I wish I could. So impressed. I'm literally blown away by the man's talent.
Very much so.
I got to know of Bentley from obviously Sonicon, where we met very briefly in the lobby, and then when you interviewed Bentley for your own podcast, Opinion Zone, and right from that interview, I felt like this is someone who would fit so well in the con scene and the con family and so on and so forth. Just the energy that they put out is so lovely, so precious. So, I don't know, very, just purely good energy, right? And having seen this performance from them, which, as you discussed with me earlier, was a very important and pivotal point in their career as well.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just so glad that it went well for so many reasons, mostly because they deserved it to go as well as it did. And even in that, like, one point during the gig where they thought that the sound wasn't right, or there was a little faux pas in the duet coming in on time and the music. It
Yeah.
was just so seamless and so professionally handled, and there was no, like, oh, existential dread. I don't know what I can do now. It just it was nice. It was nice to be a part of it. It was very intimate.
Yes.
It wasn't like thousands upon thousands of people, but there were. It was a packed little venue, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was packed, and the people up in the balconies as well. Like,
Yeah,
it was. I was
and
very
it was a
impressed.
lovely venue as well. I was very impressed by it.
Yes, someone who doesn't know the area, I was like, where are we ending up? But I was actually genuinely quite like, okay, all right. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with what's
It was
going
good.
on. Oh dear.
Yeah, and on that note, now we can go on our little break.
Little break. A little
I'm ready
break
now.
while I try to fix OBS.
Instagram. Oh, OBS now is oh god.
Amazing. Amazing.
Add pole dancing classes. Amazing. Wow. Vibe though. Yes. I would. I would. If my legs and my knees weren't broken and tired.
Not
Perpetually.
broken. Not
My
the
knees are
broken
ruined.
knees. Oh dear. I think OBS has crashed.
But we're still
So it's still streaming, but
Yeah.
the software has locked. So I can't click anything. It's just got the little spinning. Because I went to stop the Instagram, but I pressed the stop stream on Instagram and it's now done that. And now I can't actively do anything. It's still working as a
Oh.
streaming software. That's fun. So
Do we know if it will save our actual recording?
we don't know. Yay! Yay for live streaming is right. Yay. So we either
Yep.
I reboot OBS very quickly. So if you're watching on Twitch, there'll mean nothing to you because I'll just come off and online again. If you're on YouTube, you might need to refresh the page, but it should still work. Otherwise, I can't actually affect anything until I do that because it looks very dead.
I will, as the technical man. I'm going to let you decide on this because I know nothing, like Jon Snow.
Bear with everyone. It'll be
Don't
like
go away.
Don't go away. Stay. Just refresh and keep an eye out. There we go.
That was delay. What happened there? The TV's buffering. Can you hear us now?
Should be able to hear us now, but there'll be like a
Can see but
delay.
not hear you. Beyblade. Only moving mouths. No voices, ears. Yay, we're back. Okay. We're
Okay.
good.
Hurrah. Okay. Well, we've had a break. What's I like to call it a
Well,
break. Some people call it technical
yay, a
difficulties.
break. Hurrah.
Let's
Hurrah.
get her done. Right.
Yes.
We are back, and we're here for our closing segment, which is, well, actually,
hyperfixations.
Hyperfixation. And if you watched our last MegaCon review video, you will know that we had so many hyperfixations because we were gifted and received and got and acquired so many wonderful things. So
Yes.
really, you say hyperfixation, it's more like a little con hall. It's basically what we're. So, as I choke to death, I'm not very well. I am so unwell.
Gagging.
Yeah.
Gagged. Left him gagged with gifts.
With wig snatched. So, what amazing things did you get? I actually, to be fair, you got some very cute things this time around.
I have
adorable things.
I have a fairly few amazing things to display today. We're going first with probably the bestest thing ever. This comes from a friend of the table, recurring friend that visits my table, and they said that they had some leftover fabric from their sewing and from their costume making, and they thought it was the perfect shade for a baby cubby. And they made this based purely off of my cubby beanie hat. And honestly, when they came to the table and said, oh, I have a little gift for you, is that okay? I was feeling feverish. I was feeling like I'm about to die. I did not want to be there because it was the first hours of the day and I was exhausted already. I didn't know how I was going to cope and make it through the day. And then when this little guy appeared, I was like, oh, I'm gonna cry now.
I think you almost did.
Honestly, he's just so snuggly, and the felt is so nice, and the little detail of the horn being like ribbed is exactly how I imagined Cubby's horn to be, and he's just so amazing. I cannot tell you just how much I love this baby Cubby. Like emotional support bear. He is the cutest little helper. And together with that's your Sonic Cage Don't Print falling in the background. Together with Little Red, who is someone you will meet in the future. Be appreciative, all right? You're going to love this guy in a couple of weeks' time. You're going to be like, oh my god, did you bring the Little Red plush to the con with you? This is going to be iconic. But for now, they watched over the key rings together, and Little Red was like sitting down like this, and because I was feeling poorly, Cubby was lying down, and Little Red was like, oh, you'll feel better soon. And just looking at them made me feel so good. So good. But yes, that is my first one. Over to you.
So I had a variety of fun things. I think one of the things which you helped me get was one of these amazing. So we are good friends with Hannah and Hillman's Handmade and stuff that they put together. And I just want to show off this because I don't think enough love was given to this. I don't know if the camera is going to remotely behave, but look, it's so cute. And this is all, like, that's a proper mold. They put that together.
Yes. It's literally handmade.
Yeah, it's literally handmade. It is extremely cute. I love this very much. But I went to interview their table later that day for the podcast. And when I went back to our little space, I was gifted this little guy.
Blue Hedgehog. And that is made by Tim, who is Hannah's husband, partner. Hannah, help me in the chat. And I absolutely love it. It is a 3D printed figure with a floof attached, and they look so cute. They look like a D&D version of Sonic.
Literally. That's literally what it is. That's literally what it is.
Absolutely so cute. I just can imagine those little cute creatures in a D&D campaign, and they look so small and so like, but then they just whiz off fast and leave blue lightning everywhere, which is amazing.
I think it's so cute. It's the first time I've personally seen like a 3D printed product with this, like the fur on it. So I haven't seen that a lot myself, and because it's blue, obviously it's even more amazing because he's just a little guy. So yeah, I was very, very happy with that one. So thank you both so much for those wonderful. You make amazing stuff, both of you. I'm very impressed. Very, very.
Also,
impressed.
they're very reminiscent of. Do you remember the troll with the long hair that we had in the 90s? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's very troll.
They're like those
very
naked guys that are like standing. And they had like big long hair. That's kind of what it reminds me. It gives me that. I love that. Next, we had something small, but we were gifted these by our favorite 3D printer companion. They were 3D printed to go on the front of our new microphones. That looks sick as fuck. And that's the plainest way I can say. That looks sick as fuck. We have the best podcast mics at cons. Not that there's many podcasts at cons, but there you go.
We literally do have the best one. And it looks so good in the videos as well. And now I'm actually here on this live stream. I'm looking at the color matching for a paint. Isn't too bad compared to the graphics around me. It's not.
It looks really good.
It's really good. So yeah.
It looks really good.
Thank you, Rob, as always, for putting this together. And actually, while we're speaking of printing like rabbits, I should probably mention this thing I received, which you could purchase if you went to their booth table, and I'm sure if you go to any of their future events as well. This little guy. So,
little guy.
If you weren't aware, Printing Like Rabbits currently has a range of 3D printed but crochet styled little Sonic guys, and as you can tell, they are articulated. They're very cute. And you have Sonic, you have Super Sonic, very cute. You have Shadow, being flying around. You have Shadow. You have Knuckles. Stop eating the 3D printed stuff.
Tastes good, actually. How weird. It tastes like candy.
It doesn't. Don't try that at home, please.
Go eat your 3D printed stuff.
Have Amy and Tails. They're so cute.
They're very cute.
They're really cute. You need to get all of them.
Oh, look, you have Knuckles the enchilada.
Enchilada. Knuckles the enchilada. That I love them, and the crochet stuff is really cute. It is really, really cute.
Where is Tails? Tails there. He's like, it's like Reagan from The Exorcist with his neck to the other side. Hey! Printing Like Rabbits shows up in the chat in the nick of time.
Wow, how did they know?
How did they know?
So yeah, that was one of the many things. So thank you for
next,
Printing Rabbits.
Again, something really cool. I have all my stuff on my trusty copy table now.
Mm-hmm.
I also got rather, from my friend Jess, Jinx Cosplay. They have so many usernames. I really need to just learn what their usernames are. And these are lovely dice scented candles.
Oh yeah.
Which this one, I quote, smells like money. what does being rich smell like? And this is it. Which she gave me as a good luck. May you smell this way. Thank you. And this one smells of Parma Violet. And I said, "Ooh, this smells like my nan."
Oh god.
And she looked at me very blankly and was like, "Your cat." Like, my nan. And then I walked away awkwardly. With the freak out. Thanks, but I'm embarrassed now. So yes, they're amazing, and
Yes.
I will definitely be using these because they do smell so good.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Please go support them. I really wish that there was the name on the labeling. Oh, and they come with a warning. Look, trading standards cannot say anything.
No. On it.
That's how you know your product.
On it.
You
like
next.
Sonic. I've only got a couple of things left because I was not as graciously gifted because everyone was saving up for obviously the next event. But I do get a few cute
Wow.
things.
Jesus.
Wow.
She's
which-
already greedy. 4 episodes in. Oh.
We 14 episodes. In. Top 6 charting podcast. We both got these actually, which were this is the way this is not going to focus because of the camera. But we have this is beautifully cursed in so many ways. It's a Chow holding a pistol, like an actual gun. Little baby Chow, Angel Chow, with just a full man's hand holding a gun, and I am literally obsessed with it. As well as this, which is actually designed by our good friend Jake, illustrator Jake, which we're very, very grateful for. There's a whole set of them. They are currently...
I'm trying. So these were the ones that I got, and they were gifted to us by Gray in our chat. Oh, I'm just going to show you one by one because too much. The first one is the Evil Chow.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is just Shadow Chow, I guess. But I know nothing. The second one is another little Evil Chow who's also pointing a pistol because he follows Shadow, apparently. Knuckles, because Knuckles is a very close top 3 character for me in the Sonic world. And this, like Jay said, was gifted to our entire team of people who were at the Absolution Gang, which is quite funny because Jake walked up to me after our friend Gray got these for us, and Jake was like, "Oh my god, I just sold 5 of the same keyring. That's never happened. Who would buy 5 of the same keyring?" In the same breath, Gray's giving me a key. And Jake is like, "It was you! You got the keyring." It was quite funny. You had to be there.
It's very, very good. It's very, very good.
From Gray, I also got this lovely sticker. You are gay. That's it. Shadow is just spewing facts now. Not even... just fact.
Just
right?
pure fact.
Yes. Do you have anything else, or should I just keep going?
Well, we did receive some wrapped gifts. We received wrapped presents, and not only that, after that we continued to receive gifts from them out the day because they kept buying lucky bags and didn't want everything in it.
That's amazing. They came from Gina. Gina is a wonderful, wonderful person who I believe lives in the Birmingham area, so I only get to see Gina at events in Birmingham.
Yeah.
My very first event was MCM Birmingham in 2019, and Gina was my first recurring customer who came and bought from me in the same span of Saturday and Sunday, maybe 8-9 times.
Yeah.
And it was my first con ever. And I remember Paul, who helped me at cons back then, was like, "Is this normal? Do people come and buy from you regularly now?" It's just stuck. We've seen Gina at every con in Birmingham since, and she is as much a friend as she is a customer, a loyal customer. And she came with a ton of gifts this time.
Yeah.
In fact, we received this
did.
packet of Sonic biscuits that I kept to myself because I like my biscuits with my tea. My Sonic biscuits.
I'll be coming back to
wait.
claim biscuits.
Are you coming back for the biscuits?
I'm coming back for biscuits, yeah. Don't hide the biscuits.
There were no biscuits. The biscuits are alive. And I also received, because Gina thought, unlike half of you people out there, she thought that my Bluey design, my bandit design was hilarious, right? Not everyone agrees, but that's by the by. We're not going to revisit it. And to perpetuate the Bluey situation, she got me this lovely trove of Bluey
Very
and
cute.
Bingo,
Very cute.
which I thought it was funny. It was just well-rounded and nice.
And one of the things she got me is so good because one, it shows listen to the podcast, and two, shows me that they just appreciate my struggle and they gifted me Sonic. Little Sonic. The amount of Knuckles I still have in this house is insane. Literally, I can see one. There's one here. I think there's one there. They're everywhere. So, amazingly, she just found this at her job, and she was like, "Jamie."
You also have a Sonic plush that is still in my bag.
Yes, he's very cute. He's a little mini plush with a clip that you can clip onto bags. He's so adorable.
Yes.
So I got all the Sonic gifts. I am really loving the Sonic love. We also got a variety of flavored snacks and drinks.
Yes.
Yes.
And I got my Saint Seiya can of peach yogurt flavored Ocean Bomb.
Intriguing.
If you don't know what Saint Seiya is, it is the original Sailor Moon style anime that started in the 70s, late 70s. And it was more or less, instead of the Sailor Moon planets, it was armor based on constellations. And this is my constellations, the Virgo. And this is my favorite character.
Yeah.
So Gina saw that, and she gave this to me, and then she went and got a second lucky bag because it wasn't enough. And lo and behold, in that lucky bag, she found another one. So she got me the second one. One to open and one to save for my collection.
See? So good.
So good. So good. We are spoiled. Spoiled. But we thank everyone.
We do.
Yes.
One other item I just want to give a shout out to that I currently don't have on me, which is very sad, but I do love it very much. Cindercry has done a whole range of besties, best friends, button badges, and I don't understand how she has done the amount of art for the variety of combinations of besties. It is insane. There are so many different combinations, and there's so many. And I saw, for those of you who grew up around my age in school and younger, there was a TV show starring Mabel and Pippin, which was just this middle-aged woman who lived in a cottage, and she had a little dog, and she'd just be like, "Oh, I need to make lunch today," and then she'd be like, I've run out of crisps. Rather than popping to the corner shop to buy crisps, she would pop in her polka dot aeroplane and fly, and we'd learn how crisps were made. It was amazing. Complete disrespect for the environment, just flying around in a plane to like pick up the most inconvenient things. But iconic behavior. And when I saw that she had drawn Mabel and Pippin the dog with the little polka dot plane in the background, I was like, I need it. So I went past her boobs like, can you put one aside for me? I need one, and I will come back when I'm not busy. And she just passed and she went, take it, it's yours. And I was like, she's so kind. So thank you so much for that. Iconic artwork, iconic merch. Who'd have thought? Cons are amazing. I love it.
I also don't have my gift from Cindercry with me because it is hanging to dry in the wash. Because
Sorry.
Rude. Because I was so eager to wear it over the weekend that I needed to wash it. But Cindercry also made a Jinx design. As you know, I'm obsessed with her cane. I really, really wanted this Jinx design. And at the end of con, she had a one in my size still left over, came over, and she was like, just have it, bitch. And I am very grateful and very thankful. And when we do this all in a nice, tidy little clip, I will have passed on nice footage of hopefully me wearing it. Yes. Last but not least, on my end at least, unless you still have something else.
That's all from me.
Nope. Are these wonderful stickers that I received from A Single Petal. A Single Petal does a lot of original character art at cons, and we haven't tackled this subject yet, but original work at conventions is just a very, very brave thing to do. It shows belief in your work. It shows a lot of passion and a lot of love, and not many people do it. I don't do it. So I absolutely loved getting these. They are wonderful. I really like these characters. As far as I can remember, please correct me if I'm wrong, they are partners, they're boyfriends, and I just love the aesthetic, honestly. I especially love this one because cute. And the big guy became a little guy because anxiety and things, and the other one's like, me strong now. So I love this. I love this so, so much. We also got this duck.
Yeah.
And you got a cow.
I got a cow. Yeah. Anti-depression.
All right. I think that wraps up the massive amount of things that we received.
We got so much, and we're so grateful. And so thank you for everyone who just thinks of us. And I cannot express. I need to stretch. I cannot express how much it does lift the mood. It lifts the mood so much. When it's a tiring day and you're a bit fed up, just because you're just doing a lot, to have things like that just really do perk you up and keep you going. So thank you. We love all of you who were able to brighten our day a bit. Now, I'm quite excited. We're doing a mailbag.
We are doing a mailbag, and we do have questions that are specific to this episode and this MegaCon Birmingham experience. So let me just bring them up.
Yes. So while
Coop is delivering.
Yeah. So while PB sorts that out with Coop, you may be aware already that we do have our pigeon, Coop the pigeon. We did get a lot of interesting feedback from him at MegaCon, being like,
"We did.
This is amazing. I can't believe this exists now. Who knew the world needed it? But the world does need Coop."
People love the hench pigeon.
People do love a hench macho pigeon, and I've been quite intrigued by all the positive feedback because I really wasn't sure how Coop would be received. So it's been so nice to see just that people understand what the goal was. I think people get it, and I'm really happy people get it. So thank you. Now, he has been a slightly lazy pigeon because sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not. He has actually shown up this week and does actually have post for us to read through, which I believe you now have.
Yes, I do. Sorry, I was like on in the other time space continuum. Our first question comes from our friend Normal Aries, and it is, and as someone who got to walk around, I didn't. You did. Did you enjoy the con layout?
Um, it was more condensed compared to London. Again, I'm only comparing two big, medium-sized events. But I think I didn't see any issue with it. I think everything was easy to get to. I don't feel like so in London there were definitely areas that were just like little corners of nothing, where some people would put and there was literally no footfall. I feel like that was not 100% avoided, but much better in comparison. I feel like generally there was no like dead end corners. Everywhere there would be a reason for people to walk past for the most part. So I thought that was much better. Um, so yeah, I think it was. I preferred it. I personally preferred it to the London layout out of
Okay.
the two. But again, I can tell they sort of vaguely settled on how they want to do things, and it feels like they've sort of got a template they like to stick with. So
Yep. I will admit that past walking in the morning and going to the bathroom because I did not want to leave you at the table on your own for lengthy amounts of times. I didn't really have any walkarounds. What I can say is that I liked where I was. I was grateful for that, and I'm sorry it doesn't really answer much, but I liked what I saw. That said, if anyone has any opinions about the layout of MegaCon, we would love to know. If you have any controversial opinion, please let us know because we will look out for it next year.
absolutely.
Let's see. This is a very good question by our friend Chase Creations. And they said, do you think locations can strongly impact the success or less impact than people think at a con?
Okay.
So we get a lot of people at con who do well or do not do well, and they say, "Oh, my location, the location
Yeah.
was trash." It does become a bit of a meme when it is a recurring thing. However, it is factual. It is definitely a major factor. We've talked about it in a few conventions now. I talked about it when we spoke about PowerCon. The people who are on the outskirts, the people that end up in corners or side alleys or facing walls in locations where there isn't a lot of footfall, of course that is going to impact it's going to impact sales. If you are stuck between a charity or two charities, that is definitely going to impact footfall because people don't want to be stopped by either, so they will avoid, literally actively avoid walking towards you. It is unfortunate, but it is factual. If you are in a busy location where people are constantly being pushed to move forward, an entrance, a corner aisle that has too much foot traffic, that is going to deter how long people stop at your table. And I've experienced this, coincidentally, at Acme last year in May, where I was in front of signings. Next to us, it was more or less where people were walking from. And Glasgow's in the chat can attest. We had customers who were unable to complete a purchase because there were so many people funneling through that one aisle that people were being pushed away while browsing or while trying to make a payment. And there's nothing really you can do in that moment. So, table location, as much as it feels like a myth to people who aren't invested, in it. It is a massive, massive thing. And yes, I 100% accredit good location to a successful event.
Yeah. As a consumer, I can definitely say there are some areas that did not get my attention because they were next to things that I didn't want to involve myself with. The charities is a good example. I avoid those like the plague. When they come near me, I virtually walk the furthest way around because I don't want to be bothered by them, which I know sounds mean, but like I don't like cold calling, especially in any form. So if you were next to them, I probably didn't even get a chance to look. So these things I do, yeah, definitely mad.
Yep. Yep. We have another question from Fuzzy's Art Designs, who you're quite a big fan of.
Yeah.
And what was your biggest pet peeve at MegaCon?
Ooh, Daleks.
Yeah. I would say you presented the Dalek scenario very well as the biggest pet peeve. I still think that people knocking over silver and breaking silver is now becoming a recurring pet peeve of just disrespect of people touching stuff that isn't theirs. And this is not just I really hope that people understand when I talk about people knocking over these statues and pushing these statues, I'm not just talking about someone grabbing my property or Rob's property. I'm also talking about the random strangers who go up and touch cosplay without consent, who grab props without consent, who grab merch and just, what is this? What is this? And then just place it like it's nothing, like it's trash. I am talking about all these people who have absolutely no concept of respecting other people's property. Because unless you've paid for it, unless you've paid for that item that you're touching already, it isn't yours.
Yeah. It is so. I want everyone who ever attends a con, and I feel like everyone who's listening and watching this already gets it, but just in case it reaches people who don't, when you buy a ticket to any convention, all that grants you is access to the venue, nothing else. It does not give you right to touch things, poke things, play with things, rearrange things, annoy people. All that gives you the permission to do is to walk through the barrier where they check for the wristbands, like nothing else. And I feel like people think that, oh, I paid to be here, I can do what I want. No, literally not. Respect things that aren't yours. Respect people. That's a basic concept. Don't need to be
shocking,
so basic about it.
Wild.
And like, you wouldn't, I don't know, maybe you would. Maybe you are the kind of person who goes into the supermarket, picks up something from the frozen aisle and leaves it in the homeware. Triggering. But like, just respect people's stuff. And also, these are independent traders. Like, if you just rummage things and damage stuff, you've literally lost the money. Be respectful or don't go. I'm so over it.
Yeah.
So over it.
To contrast this point, both Fuzzy's Art Designs and our friend Normal Aries have asked, what was the funniest, favorite, and most memorable interaction at this convention? I have mine prepared. It is not PG. So I'll let you go first.
Funny. I mean, my most memorable interaction at the con was the shrine of shoes at Silver.
Okay, that's quite funny.
It's, what the heck was that? What happened? I still don't understand what happened. The fact that people just made him a shrine of their shoes. I couldn't have prepared for it. You couldn't make it up. It's just the weirdest interaction I've ever had. And I walked away being like, I love conventions, because where else does this happen? Where else?
That's sweet. That's so adorable.
Where else does the stuff like this happen? So yeah. Definitely that. Easily that.
Okay. So mine, picture it. It is busy Saturday moment, right? We are packing a order for someone. You're taking the payment. Next to me, Rob from Printing Like Rabbits is also packing an order, and he is wrapping this duck and wrapping another duck and then wrapping another item, and he's stuffing them into this bag. And who knows what possessed me to just randomly turn to Rob and say, "Fill me like you're filling that bag." And as he looks up at me and he's like, "What?" We turn and we see the MegaCon staff member filming literally us. And then just walking away. And I just wanted the earth to crack and swallow me whole and die. But I know it's embarrassing, but it is funny. It is the funniest moment.
Funny.
And this will be the story that I will be telling about MegaCon a year from now. that is the only thing I will be remembering. That and silver being broken. Probably. So definitely takes the cake for my favorite memory. It was hilarious.
Nowhere else.
I just wish you saw Rob's face. Deer caught in headlights when I said that, just looking at me like, what? But then turning around and seeing the... So, oh my god. Anyway, I hope they don't post it. Cancelled. Before we made it. Cancelled even before we made it.
Not before
Crazy.
we made it. It's
Crazy.
crazy.
That is it. That is our mailbag. Coop is cuckooing away.
Cuckooing. He's a cuckoo now. He's an amazing pigeon. Thank you so much for everyone who wrote in.
Thank you so much.
We really appreciate it. If you have any other burning questions you would like Coop to pass on to us, find his post pinned. I believe it's pinned on our Instagram page. Also, if you find the picture of Coop on any of our social medias, that is a good place. Just post a comment in the questions. Yep. If you don't want to find it, or you have something long that you want to send directly to us and not shared on a comment, then just send us a direct message on any of our platforms and let us know in the message this is for the mailbag or this is for Coop. And either way, we'll know to keep it, to save, to use on the podcast. And it could be about conventions, it could be about art, it could be about the fandoms we're into, it could be about the very podcast you're listening to right now. We are happy to take any questions or just opinions. You might want to just share an opinion that you want us to have a little think about. Send them our way.
Yes.
On that note, we've come to the end.
We have. Have you decided to actually not do a Choose It or Lose It?
No Choose It or Lose It this week. No Choose It or Lose It this week. After crazy, I know, but
it's almost like ending on a. We need one. Come on.
We don't have one. There is no one. And at almost 4-hour runtime of recording, I think we have enough content.
3 hours. 3 hours. 7 till 10 is 3 hours. But sure, John.
I mean, I guess if it's just 3 hours, no. I think we are spoilt for wonderful anecdotes and stories today. But it just means I'll be brewing something extra special for the next episode.
See, even the chat is like shocked faces.
I know.
And egging you on.
You gotta keep them wanting more, You have to keep them wanting more. It is the end. It is the end of this episode. We have discussed so much. It's crazy how you think in my head I was like, oh, it's just another MegaCon, but no. So much to discuss. The Bentley gig, Silver and his shoes, the interactions, the craziness, Daleks, madness of all of it, the chaos, as we like to say, of the weekend.
Not the chaos.
Not the chaos. We are so grateful. One, if you tuned in live, we would love to know if you'd like to listen to podcasts recording again in the future. Is this an experience you enjoyed? Give us all the feedback you want. We would love to know if it was a fun experience for you. If you'd like to see us do other live content in the future, let us know what that could be and what you'd like to see. We would take all the feedback. We really want to know what you thought.
Yes.
For those of you listening at home, which is where you're listening, and that's a really weird way to say it. For those of you listening the recorded version and not listening live, thank you for listening for another week. Make sure, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, that you go to the podcast page where you found this and rate us 5 stars and leave us a positive review. It really helps, and it costs you nothing to do, but helps us in the biggest way. So please come find us. If you are listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube or doing whatever you want on YouTube, press the subscribe button, press the bell button. We upload videos, not just podcast episodes. We do walk-arounds, we do little bits, interviews and stuff. It's all on the YouTube, so go check it out. And wherever you're finding us, social media as well. Easiest way to find out what social medias you're on is to go to theconcreatives.com, where all our social medias are found. However, the easiest way to say is if you find us on Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, we're on all of those. And for the majority of those handles, we're at theconcreatives. And I guess we should say we're on Twitch.
We are on Twitch now.
Literally right now, but also we are on Twitch. So if you haven't already followed us on Twitch, head over there again at we're the Creatives on Twitch. So do head over there. Check out the channel, because who knows what live streams might come in the future one day.
Yes, we are considering the idea of bringing back some of my art streams on occasion. Not many, because overwhelming. And just doing some gaming and chat and chill and hanging out with our community, which I think would be a nice way to force us to have downtime. Because that is where we're at. We are working so much and doing so much, we need to trick ourselves into relaxing.
We have to make our downtime work to make sure we do the downtime, you see?
Exactly. I think that works very well. Also, one final thing. We have taken on board the feedback that we received last week or the week before, 2 weeks ago now, with regards of opening a Patreon for the podcast. Now, when I originally made that post, I asked if people were interested in doing articles, if they wanted to have little write-ups based on what we've talked about, but there were so many overwhelmingly good suggestions in the question portion of those Instagram stories that we have built a full-on really good plan for our Patreon, which is taking a couple of weeks to set up, because I am going back and writing individual articles for every single fucking topic that we talked about. And as you saw today, in some episodes we talk about like 20 different things. So it's taking some time, but I will catch up. We will have a Patreon, and those who would be interested in pledging or even sponsoring an episode as a business, because sponsors are made by businesses, and as it turns out, all these artists and traders and crafters are business owners. So your business could sponsor a podcast. But that is coming soon as well. So please keep an eye out for that on our socials. Thank you.
And on that note, I think we should all take a little rest and gear ourselves up for another week of chaos. It's my favorite word. And we'll see you again in a week's time for episode 15. Can you imagine?
Thank you, love you, bye.
Thank you, love you, bye.
Bye. Is that...
There we go. Episode recorded. We've done an episode. It's recorded. It's in the bank.
Yes.
Yes.
We're back. We're back. We're back. I don't know if we're back. You're not giving me any
We're
cues.
back.
I'm just left to guess what is happening.
You're doing very well. We're back.
Okay. We are not actually staying long. We just wanted to say thank you to anyone who dedicated their evening to see our first stream.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say how thankful I am. I have done a while of streaming. I have left it behind me back in 2021. So
Yeah.
coming back and seeing this multi-stream actually work and be a things, and everyone participating and sticking with it for a whole 3 hours is
Yeah.
amazing. So thank you. We appreciate you, and we hope you will be back for other lives that we do. If you have any feedback based on what we did this evening, please let us know. Jamie and I do read literally every DM that we get. That said, we are exhausted. It has been a very long day to try and get this working, especially for Jamie, who was doing his day job, plus trying to make both our computers make this work, because they both decided to flip the bird like people did to Silver during the weekend. And he needs his rest and food and all the things. And
my downtime.
I need to get more work done because it's what I do. I keep working. So thank you so much, you guys. Love you all.
Yes.
And we will see you soon.
Indeed.
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Ooh, I didn't have to press the off button. Where's the off button?